So, hello and welcome to this Watchalong match party on Women's CricZone. I'm Ashwini Patil, your host for today's live session. So, we promise that you guys are going to have an in depth analysis of the match, the players throughout the game today. So, stay tuned with us and do drop in your views and comments on the same. So, we're all set to watch the women set the stage on fire. India and New Zealand are ready to lock horns with each other for this much awaited one off T20I game. With the World Cup just around the corner, India starting its tour of New Zealand with a one-off T20I makes a lot more sense than it might seem at the first glance. It will definitely serve as a great practice and provide the team game time ahead of the World Cup matches in Australia and New Zealand. It presents a unique opportunity to the Indian team to reverse their fortunes and correct the mistakes which were made during the last tour. In early 2019, India lost the T20I series 3-0 in the island nation. So this time around, they look to turn around the tables, whereas the White Ferns will want to continue the domination. So joining me today for this discussion is Yash and Shajin. So before we get to the experts, let me give you an update about the toss. So India have won the toss and they've elected to bat first. Coming to you, Yash, first. Your views on India batting first. They've been struggling a tad bit while putting up big totals out there. So, what you to make of this decision of Team India?
I think so, Ashwini. The first thing is India is bowling first, so that's a correction. So
Okay.
India has elected to bowl first. I think so. That's a right decision. You coming up. You last played as a team together in Australia against Australia, which is still three months back. So coming from there and now potentially playing after a long time. I think so. It's a good decision to basically bowl first, so that you basically have a target set in front of you, and depending on that, since you're going to chase, you basically your batters can plan it ideally. So it makes for more sense, and this is the only T20I that's going to happen. Of course, both teams would want to start off with a win and everything. But this is the only T20I that is going to happen. There are 5 ODI which are in preparation to that mighty World Cup, which is just coming up in the same country. So I think so. It's more or less both the teams, of course, would be looking for a win, but both teams would definitely be looking uh, for for something good to start with.
Correct. So, if we talk about the head-to-head stats of India and New Zealand in T20Is, they've total played 12 matches. India has won 4 of them. New Zealand has had an edge over there, winning 8 matches. But let me tell you, the last time the two teams faced each other in this shortest format was the T20 World Cup 2020, wherein India dominated the proceedings to win the game by 3 runs to book their semi-final spot. So even though New Zealand isn't haven't had a very good outing in the T20Is against England when they played, and previously as well, but then heading into this game, we talk that cricket is all about the momentum. We say so if they win this game, India or New Zealand, whoever wins the game, they enter the ODI series with a momentum by their side. So that's a psychological factor. So how does that affect the players, Sajin? I'll get to you with this.
I don't know actually because the both teams have struggled in recent times in the T20I, so I don't think there is much of a difference between both sides. And although New Zealand have struggled in England, they have won T20 against New Zealand, England, and as well as when during the Australia series, they also managed to win match against the world champions. So they will be
Correct.
more confident than India, considering India has struggled in the Australia series as well as the England series.
Right. So if we
I
talk
think so.
quickly about
I think so. There we have the first breaking news. Smriti Mandhana is not playing for India. Uh,
correct.
Amy Shadathwaite is not playing for New Zealand. Of course, the reasons we don't know yet, but this is a huge breaking news. Smriti Mandhana not playing. Meghna,
Correct.
who was not in that first 15, has been drafted into the squad. She's opening with Shafali. So I think so. It's already a shocking start to the day. Is Smriti carrying an injury? What's actually happening is something that everyone would want to see.
Definitely. And also we have Simran Bahadur getting into the squad. She'll be getting this opportunity. It will be a good time for her as well, like in the absence of Smriti. So it would be good to see how the team goes on. So if we talk about the spinners now, we have Deepti Sharma, we have Sneh Rana and Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Poonam Yadav out there. So the average of the Indian spinners has been a tad bit of a concern for India in the past. The average, if we talk about Deepti Sharma, Poonam Yadav, but then heading into this ODI World Cup, both all of these spinners, they would want that they get that momentum, they get their rhythms back. So, your thoughts on the spinners? How would they approach this game to start afresh, Yash?
I think so. Rajeshwari has been in good form, and I think so. She's
Correct.
the only spinner who's been playing very consistently. The other spinners haven't been playing consistently, so I think so. That's always going to that is the case. Of course, we are playing a lot of spinners today. We are having Rana, we are having Poonam Yadav, we are having Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Deepti Sharma. So nearly 4 to 5 spinners that we are playing today. Um, it is sort of a concern. Uh, I don't know what the team management is right now thinking. Of course, we've always relied on our spinners, but this looks of too much of a spin attack.
Correct. So, huh.
If I'm reading it right, it's only Pooja Vastrakar who's going to
Correct.
be that pitcher. Simran Dil Bahadur offers that medium pace, but I'm a little shocked not to see both Meghna Singh and Renuka Singh Thakur. Renuka Singh did well in those T20 outings in Australia. So yeah, I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked by a lot of these decisions. Are they precautionary? Does anyone have nickel? What is exactly happening is something that I want to know. But yeah, this is a bit of a shocking 11. Of course, nobody predicted this 11. I'm sure if we had a contest like the 171 not out guys had a contest, we would have absolutely won because nobody would have got this right. Both teams, I'm
Correct.
sure nobody would have got it right.
Correct. So, as you said, that the playing 11 is a bit of a shocking. We don't have Meghna Singh, Renuka Singh Thakur. Both of them had a good outing in the senior one as well. But then now we just talking about the wicket keepers out there. So Richa Ghosh and Tanya Bhatia, there was a tussle between both of them. So Richa Ghosh gets a go early on. So she's been in a good form. She looked in good form, and also her growth in these times have been instrumental. So was that an expected thing that Richa Ghosh will be selected ahead of Tanya Bhatia?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was for sure the case. Tanya slowly has been removed from the bigger scheme of things. First, of course, from the T20s long back, and now after those T20s. If you've seen it slowly, that Tanya has been told that she needs to really work on her batting skills. Of course, she's never got those chances in whatever the limited time she's played. But yeah, I think so. That's been the major concern with Tanya. That what is exactly happening? Has the team management communicated well with her? She's continuously traveling with the team, but what is she playing is only the test match. And this time around, there is no test match. So I'm expecting that Tanya is only as a backup wicketkeeper there in New Zealand. In case something happens to Richa Ghosh or something, then only Tanya Bhatia gets drafted into the 11. Otherwise, it's Richa playing full-fledgedly, playing whatever the 5 ODIs here, and then playing potentially the entire World Cup. Because and Richa has shown that yes, she can bat really well. She can finish those innings and everything. So of course,
So when we talk about the toss, we talk about the lineups, and then we see that there are a lot of contrasting things in between both the squads. India have, as you said, Yash, rightly, that they went with Pooja Vastrakar and a lot of spinners there. But if we talk about New Zealand, so there is Jesker, there's Henna Rowe. So how do you make like the teams before they start this match? They assess the pitch, they get used to they watch and they check the conditions. According to that, they probably make the playing 11. But then a lot of changes out there. Like how do the two teams approach for their playing 11s? And as we see through the playing 11s that are out, that New Zealand have rather a good mix of both pace and spin in their side, unlike India, if we talk so Shajeen, how would you put that?
Both teams have gone with contrasting 11s, considering that New Zealand have picked 4 pacers with Haley Johnson as the same all-rounder, whereas India has gone spin heavy with 4 spinners in their mix. I don't know so what the conditions are. Most likely it's going to be a flat track, and New Zealand have only Amelia Carr as the frontline spinner with Maddie Green chipping with some off spin.
Correct.
Whereas India have their issue. They have gone with their strength spin, although they haven't been in form in recent times. They have chosen to go with only 2 paces.
Correct. So if we talk about the New Zealand players, they all, like most of them, have had a good outing in the Super Smash tournament. They come with a good form by their side. So when heading into this match, Yash, I'll come to you with this question. So how would that affect the players? How would they carry the momentum further coming from a good Super Smash? They'll of course want to dominate the proceedings as they have against India, and that always, a bit of a game time, because if we talk about the Indian team, they have last played a T20I against Australia. But the New Zealand team, they have played in the domestic circuit, good match practice. How does that affect the players?
I think so. It helps a lot. Of course, playing in those same conditions in different teams, of course. But when you play in the same conditions, you obviously know the conditions very, very well, and they've been doing that in the last 2 months. And of course, it's their home turf, so everyone knows it that well. But and this is the same squad, and this is a squad that they've picked after whosoever has played well, whosoever has not. Of course, there's a big thing about Lee Kasparek not making it to that 15 for the World Cup. Very, very shocking. She is their best spinner, best bowler for that matter. But she not making it, of course, is a bit of surprise. So I'm not sure have they gone with only, and that's the what. Yeah, that's the first runs on board for Susie Bates. Pooja Vastrakar started, yes. So we have finally the first runs, the third ball of that. But coming back to your question, I think so. I'm not very sure have they only picked based on Super Smash or what exactly is happening. But yeah, whatever the squad they have chosen makes for definitely is good. All the players deserve to be there, but I would have still wanted Kasparek to be there.
Yes, rightly said, because she's been consistently picking up wickets for New Zealand since the 2017 ODI World Cup. And to be noted, she has finished as the highest wicket taker in the Super Smash as well. So that's a surprising omission for sure. So the action is all started. Levine and Bates starting the innings for New Zealand, and Vastrakar starting the bowling, the first spell for India. So talking about Vastrakar a bit, in the New Zealand series, like she couldn't make a very big impact with the ball, but definitely in the second T20I, she chipped in with those crucial runs for the team. 37 runs, I guess, she scored against in the second T20I against Australia. So what role do you, Shajeen, I'll come to you with this question. So what role of Pooja Vastrakar, like how does she approach her role with the bat and with the ball? She would want that she gets that good momentum by her side before the ODI World Cup. We have the 5-match ODI series as well, so that would be a testing time to get her rhythm back, and more importantly, down the order with the bat as well. So what role do you see of Pooja Vastrakar in the lineup?
Pooja Vastrakar started as the lower middle order hitter, and then now she has started working on her bowling, and she has improved a lot with her bowling during the England series as well as the Australia series. Now she can she will have to lead the attack in the absence of experienced pacers like Shika Pandey, and Arundhati Reddy has been doing the work for India in recent times as well. So they will have to go with Pooja Vastrakar, the bowler. They will be relying more on her bowling, and they will hope that she can provide some wickets towards the end of the Indian innings.
Right, rightly said. So the first over is done. Pooja Vastrakar has conceded just 2 runs. Sophie Devine and Susie Bates there. So also coming on to this point that Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, Amy Satterthwaite, this trio we talk about New Zealand, they are the strength of the New Zealand lineup. So the all-rounders getting back in this squad, the lineup, and Sophie Devine, she helped her team in the Super Smash by playing that 92 runs innings in the finals. She opened the innings, she played an amazing knock and led Wellington to victory in the Super Smash tournament. Opening here yet again, how the skipper has led the team so far. Like there have been a lot of changes in the leadership roles in New Zealand, but then now we have Sophie Devine doing it for the ODIs, for the World Cup now. So yes, Sophie Devine's role in the New Zealand setup, her experience, and how would that count for New Zealand in the ODIs as well as the mega event that is to be held at their own home country?
So first things, I think so. When it comes to captaincy, New Zealand has always been not a single-led captain. So on the toss or on the field, it's just that one captain which is shown, because you cannot show multiple captains. But when it comes to say field settings or anything, it's generally a core group. So if you've not right now, it's been the case for whatever 4, 5, 6 years at least. That it's always Satterthwaite, it's Bates, it's Devine, and even today when you see when New Zealand will come out to bowl, it will always be the senior leadership that will help the whosoever the captain to basically do everything that is required from captaincy. So I think so. Devine, first it was Bates, then Satterthwaite went for a leave, maternity leave. Then Devine was made the captain. So I'm assuming this entire, at least this three, and then Leah Tahu in the mix and everyone. So I think so. It's more of that kind of a skill that is portrayed on the field when it comes to the captaincy skills. Of course, when it comes to her batting or her bowling, that's the point of that's the point of concern when it comes to internationals, because what she's been able to do in leagues, be it the WBPL or the Super Smash, she doesn't even consider bowlers. Matlab, it's so one-sided when she comes on to bat, especially in the Super Smash, that it hardly looks like anybody can get her out. But that's not been the case in internationals. In internationals, that she hasn't been able to replicate that every match. That's the first 4. Bates has just hit Simran Dil Bahadur for the first 4, 7 for 0 after 1.5. But
Yes.
Coming back to Devine, I think so. Devine on her own can win them nearly every match because she's that dangerous. But is she going to repeat that match after match in internationals is the thing that we will all have to see.
Okay, that goes right. So, if we talk about the previous tours, when New Zealand went to England, on a few occasions they came really close to winning. They got the momentum, but then they couldn't capitalize on that and finish things off. So, Shajeen, what do you think is the issue that has plagued them there? Like getting the momentum in the match there, but then not able to capitalize on that or continue the momentum further and seal the job for the team.
Yeah, they have been struggling with results in recent times, even though they came close quite a bit a number of times. They have issues with their batting. One of the issues is they have been missing Susie Bates in the recent times, and then they had so many opening combinations with Lauren Down, Hayley Jensen, Maddie Green, Sophie Devine herself going up the order once in a while. Francis Mackay opened in a T20I. So they have never had consistent opening partnership, and they also had issues with the middle order with Amelia Kerr missing. Only Amy Satterthwaite have been consistent for them in the middle order. So their batting issues, and then they had again Amelia Kerr missing with the ball, and Leah Taho who had injuries. So they never have managed to play play the full strength 11. This is the most likely full strength 11 for them. And again, Amy Satterwhite is missing today, so let's see what happens today.
So just getting to the live action, we saw that there was a opportunity to get that run out, and that brings us to the fielding of the team India. So we saw that in South Africa as well, in Australia, England as well, they were not roll that fast on the ground. And when it comes to T20Is, we often say that a run saved is a run probably scored. So how, heading into the ODI World Cup as well, you need to have to take all those departments of the bowling, batting, but then fielding, though detailed talk about it, or we sit and don't discuss it, but it's very important for all the teams. So the talking about the fieldings and their action on the match, Yash, coming to you on that, like what do you make of the fielding of Team India? It has been a bit of a concern in Australia and South Africa also. We talked about the same thing. It becomes important in T20Is more so.
Of course, it is because a catch or a run out is definitely going to win you matches or something like that. And of course, it was Harman this time around. Harman has generally been a very good fielder. Every 6 months or every year, she gives you that one brilliant catch which everyone wants to see. We've seen that in India, we've seen that in England, we've seen that yearly in every place that she's played. So, and Harman is a very attacking captain. She's very aggressive. She likes to take it teeth for teeth. So and she'll give you everything on the field. And that is also a concern for me because I don't want to see Harmanpreet Kaur injured. There have been times that because of her fielding efforts, there was a scare in the first match of WBBL for Renegades when she was playing. She just jumped to take a catch. Of course, the catch did not come, but she got injured. So everyone, if you see Harman's last entire year, she's been injured or COVID or something or the other. So of course, there was another scare that happened. So I don't want to see Harmanpreet Kaur injured. Generally, coming back to fielding, generally the fielding is improving. Of course, not that quick, but the fielding of the Indian side has generally been improving. With a young team, it's easier for them to imbibe whatever your new skills or anything are. So I think so. Generally, the fielding of the entire Indian team has been improving, and of course, fielding is very important. That way, is going to win you matches. Imagine if that run out would have happened. Bates would
Yes.
have been on her way.
So, if we talk about New Zealand openers like Susie Bates, Sophie Devine getting into the charge, 9 runs so far. We are in the third over now. So, while setting targets as well, the New Zealand's top order has also struggled against England. So, in this match, if we talk about this particular match, Shajeen, Devine and Bates, they've started slow, like they are trying to build up the innings. Do you think that that's the reason, like their top order has been struggling and you need to build on the innings and then get so far? What would be the approach of Sophie Devine and Bates in this T20I, and how do they, take that responsibility that the experience, make most of the experience they have and get the momentum for New Zealand in this one of T20I, their role, Shajeen?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually because Sophie Devine and Susie Bates are the most prolific T20 openers in T20's history, and they should have been able to manage a bit more proactive in the first few overs. But I think in the absence of Amy Satterwhite, they might have be looking to take more responsibility and play out a few more overs and see what the wicket offers. And once the once they are up to 4 to 5 overs, they will be going after the bowlers. Sophie Devine is more important in that case because Sophie Bates will be looking to bat through the innings while Sophie Devine will take the attack to the opposition. Since Rajeshwari Gaikwad is now here, we will see how
Yes.
Bates and Sophie Devine approaches the innings now. Since 3 overs done, 9 runs are only there. Maybe we will see them go after the spinners.
Correct. That could be their approach. They can target the spinners, and we have a lot of options in the spin department today for India. But if we talk about the T20I series against Australia, now we talk about the momentum. We see that Indian players haven't had played a T20I game recently. That's not the case with the New Zealand players. But then, if we talk about the Australia series, the first game was called off, but the second T20I was a thriller one, wherein the hosts were given a mighty scare by the spirited Indian team. Despite putting a low score on the board, India took the game deep enough. So, this about this contest against New Zealand now. What do you make of the teams? A contest of evenly matched outfits, yes. Even though New Zealand has played a lot of cricket, but then this still goes out as to be a contest of the evenly matched outfits.
No, I don't think so. I think so. When you don't have so in the T20 team at least, when you don't have Shikha Pandey, you don't have Jemima Rodriguez, two players who you did not select in the 15 for the World Cup, and that's the reason they are not playing this T20 as well. And when you don't have Smriti Mandana, I think so. India is slightly weaker here in at least in this particular match. I don't know what's going to happen in the ODIs or what exactly are the injury updates on Smriti, especially because this is very shocking. They were
Correct.
in quarantine. What exactly has happened? So no one knows that particular thing. So I'm a little surprised. If you ask me to compare both the teams, I feel uh, New Zealand is a bit stronger. Amy Sadathwaite, of course, is missing, but New Zealand is still stronger. Uh, when India looks to me the weaker team in this T20 11, they can only win this, of course, with the bowlers doing well, and then it's only Shafali or Harman who are giving that confidence that yes, India can win. Others, I don't think so. Really give me that confidence, and it's simply from a perspective that they
Yeah.
haven't played a lot. Yastika Bhatia only played two T20s in Australia. It's S. Meghna's debut today. She and Simrandil Bahadur are both in the travelling reserves for the World Cup. They both are playing today. So I'm not sure whether what's happening. And you don't expect a Richa Ghosh or a Pooja Vastrikar to win you matches. They are your finishers. So of course, if there are 20, 30 runs left and those are needed in 10, 15 balls, that's what you expect from them. So if it's a low score, I will not be surprised if they send in Deepti Sharma at number three, because that's what they can potentially do today.
Correct. So talking about the match, Gaikwad coming in the attack, and then Devine plays a four of her. That seems to be as if the New Zealand batters are going to target the spinners, and we'll have to see how the other spinners go on in this match. But before that, we'll touch upon this point that we just said that Smriti Mandana is in the part of the setup today. But definitely, we know that there would have been some issue. Otherwise, keeping her away from this game like seems not so right to all of us. But then in these conditions, when there is no Spriti Manna out there, the opening slot and then the middle order. So, Shajin, coming to you on this, who do you think would be the key batter for India in this particular setup? If Manna is not there, a lot of responsibility comes at Shafali. We had a good right and left combination up there. So now, in her absence, of course, she's one of the key batters in the side. And then now, in her absence, which Indian batter do you think would make a big impact? Because if as the way New Zealand is going, they're trying to build on their innings, started slow, but now getting there slowly and steadily. And if good total comes on board, a
Woo!
lot of
First
responsibility.
six.
Yes,
First six, Divine hits that Simran Bahadur. First ball four and then six. So I think so. Divine
yes,
has started showing what she can potentially do, clearing her
correct.
arms. And this is what we love to see. I think so. Sophie Divine at her full form. This is
And
what
then it's go.
Shiji. What's your take here?
That's
Yes,
that's
I
again
said.
six.
So Sophia Devon will be looking to go after the bowlers. Then Susie Bates will bat through the innings.
Susie Wade should be
This is
the
the
two.
form. Yeah,
Woo! Another one.
this is the form
That's
Sophie Devine has shown throughout the Super Smash. So she will be
correct.
looking to tee
We're
off from
just
here again.
resuming from where she left. Sophie Devine looking absolutely great for New Zealand at the moment. But then coming
She's
into the
just
batting,
she's just toying Simran Dil Bahadur.
Yes,
If you
that
just
looks so
see that
nice.
she's just toying Simran Dilbad, Pooja Vasarkar is coming to her, asking her ki, oh, you
Oh,
have
there's
to do
another one.
this, you have to do that. There are bowling skills that she is using. 4-6-6. Harmanpreet Kaur also with Simran.
Yes. Zoe Devine is looking absolutely great for New Zealand at the moment. Simran Bhadur will have to bring some changes in her plans, definitely. So until now they were starting slow, but now they're taking on the bowlers, and Pooja Vastrakar having a talk with Simran Dil Bahadur, probably giving them some insights on the same. So so the way they are going right now, it's the fifth over, 33 runs already on board, Sajin. So if we get to see a good target, the onus will be on the
What's the
Indian
power
batters.
play score?
Yeah, correct. So for the New Zealand, what do you see as the power play score, Sajin?
They are going to score more than 60, 50, I think. Simran, the types of bowlers can always be targeted by Sophie Devine. She offs medium bases usually, so Simran will have to come up with some other plan.
Shajin, it's
Next,
only 7 balls remaining. You're
so
saying
I am
that they're
saying
scoring more
50
than
plus
50. So
50,
basically,
yeah,
you're
more
saying
than 50.
15 more runs in 7 balls.
15, yeah, yeah. If Sophie Devine is on strike, maybe they will score more.
So Vidivan is on strike. I think so. That's a
Yeah,
single. No, 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 no. There are more.
So that
That covered a lot of ground. I think so. They scored 3 runs on that particular ball.
yes,
37
so
for no loss after 5. Simran's over went
16,
over
18, 21 runs from the over.
21 runs. That's a huge over. Who's bowling the sixth one? I think so. It's Gaikwad coming again.
Gaikwad. Gaikwad will come.
right. So Gaikwad probably getting into the attack. She has been looked in good form, and then an experienced campaigner for India as well, and a proven performer. A good Australia series out there. So how do you approach at times like this when you don't have a lot of options in the pace unit, a lot of responsibility comes onto the spin attack? With the experience, how does the experience affect Yash? I'll come to you on that. So how does the experience of Sri Gaikwad would help India to get back into it? Otherwise, the way Sophie Devine is looking at the moment, she can do wonders right now and has a good form by her side as well. So what approach do you think the Indian bowlers have to take?
I think it's very simple. You have to take that wicket. So
Yeah,
how you take is not the concern. You need to take
definitely.
that wicket. I'm sure the video analyst and everyone must have worked a lot because Divine is by far big, their best batter today. And you need that wicket. Everyone knows that if Sophie Devine comes on her own, what is she going to do? So I'm sure the
Correct.
video analyst has worked a lot, seeing her footages for Super Smash, WBPL, everything. I think so. That is what is more needed. And if you just see Susie Bates with all her experience premeditating what Gaikwad is going to bowl. So you just see that she bowls, and Susie Bates was ready that I want to just put it over the third man and over the keeper rather, or between the keeper and the third man, and it has to go. Of course, the power was not enough for it to go for a four, but she had premeditated the field. She knew that Gaikwad is going to bowl this ball, and the same is what Gaikwad will have to do. She must have watched thousands of clips of Sophie Devine, Susie Bates to understand that what exactly are they missing on. So I think so that's more important.
Correct. And also we have Poonam Yadav in the lineup today, Shajeen. So Poonam Yadav and Deepti Sharma, we just had a word about them. So Poonam Yadav and both Deepti Sharma's average we were talking about. So they'll definitely want that, they get that game time ahead of the ODI series as well. So if they turn out good today, they'll get that psychological good factor that heading into the ODI series that they've done well in this T20I. So talking about Poonam Yadav, when we right now talk about her, when she gets into the attack, if she's probably not looked so good with the ball, but then there's a great opportunity for her right now. So what role of Poonam Yadav do you see here, Shajin?
Yeah, Poonam Yadav and Rajeshwari Gaikwad will be the key bowlers from here because they will take the ball away from the right-handers, and India will be looking for a breakthrough from both of them. So 46. What's the power play score?
It's not yet finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one more ball left. So,
Correct.
yeah, as I said, Rajeshwari Gaikwad will be one of the key bowlers. She can take the ball away from the right-handers and will be looking to snare one of this to
49.
out. Yeah, so
You
one
missed by
run
a run.
short
You
of
missed by a run.
what one run.
Good protection out
Yeah,
there,
they
but
will
then
make
still.
up for in the later. Yeah,
You missed by
maybe
Yeah.
a
post
run.
power play they will look to bring in Poonam Yadav and maybe Deepti Sharma as well.
Yeah, the Indian players are covering a lot of field, especially Meghna, Pooja Vastragar, Yastika Bhatia were there at the boundaries. They have to cover a lot of field
Base.
because Bates and Divine are premeditating, putting it in the right gaps. They've not given a chance till now.
Correct.
Settled
Look very
very well
confident.
in the first three overs, then hit Simran Dil Bahadur in the fifth over, and whatever Rajeshwari Gaikwad in the sixth over. So I think so. They are managing it pretty well. If you just see, Bates is on 20 of 19, Divine is on 28 not out of 17. I think so. That's very clear in their minds that Bates is going to be the glue that is going to stick the anchor innings the entire over. And when it comes to Divine, she's just going to hit. We have the power play score going on at the down ticker is here 49 for no loss. Poonam Yadav comes into the attack. Now it's going to
Yes.
be important to see. Poonam Yadav has not played a lot of international cricket of late. She's not your preferred spinner anymore. She used to be the first choice spinners. She enjoyed that even till the last T20 World Cup that was held in Australia. But the last
Yes.
whole year that Poonam Yadav has not been the prime spinner for India. Um, Rajeshwari Gaikwad has taken that spot. So I think so. That's going to be very much the thing that how Poonam is going to react to this particular thing, especially with the World Cup coming up, because she also
Correct.
knows that, for example, Deepti Sharma offers 10 overs with the ball, gives decent enough chance with the bat. Same goes with Sneha Rana. Rajeshwari Gaikwad just above her in that pecking order. So depending on all of this, how is Poonam Yadav going to react, and how is Poonam Yadav going to say, "Hey, I am your prime spinner. I'm going to play in that first 11." That's going to be more important. It's more psychological. Oh, that's a good ball. Just
Yes.
missed Richards to run. That should be 2 runs, but this could have been a wicket for Poonam Yadav. Imagine this if this would have been a wicket. New Zealand's middle order is weak. If we have to put it in that way, New Zealand's middle order is weak. So that way, even Susie Bates is taking her chances now. Coming back to Poonam Yadav, very important. This particular series is going to be very important about how Poonam Yadav's future is going to look like. Because depending on this series, we will understand whether she makes it to that World Cup first 11 most days or not. She may play, but does she play 2 matches, or is she going to play all 7 games in the league stages? That's going to be the overall point. So yeah, uh, that's I think so Poonam Yadav's case here.
Right. So as you rightly said that about the team combinations and everything would be World Cup, it would affect this New Zealand series would be a great opportunity for both the teams to fine tune their preparation for the mega event and get to know that what best 11 can walk the field during that mega event. So many changes and combinations will be tried by both the teams, by India as well. Like New Zealand have a little edge if we talk about considering the home conditions, but then many changes and combinations will be tried by India to make sure that the best 11 walks to the field during the World Cup, and then the form of the players in the ODI series will be very vital. So, Shajin, how would that help India? Like Yastika impressor also our captain Mithali Raj, the ODI World Cup. in the talking about the ODI World Cup, she touched upon this point that this will serve as a great preparation for the team. They'll get good match practice. How does that affect the entire selection process for the ODI for the World Cup?
Yeah, to add what Yash said about Poonam Yadav, if you remember correctly, Poonam Yadav's out of form or indifferent form started when Amelia Kerr took to her in the T20 World Cup. That was the last time these two teams played against each other. So she will have to come up with new plans. There has been talk about she has to find a delivery that she can bowl a quicker one or some variations into her attack. But she hasn't been managed and she has been averaging around 80 in the ODI format. So maybe this will be an opportunity for her to make a case for the to start in the playing 11 for the ODI side. Among the other bowlers, I don't think Simran Dilbahadur anyway is the traveling reserve, so she might not play in the ODIs with Julan Goswami will be coming back. Renuka Singh is a good option to have in the 50-over format. So and Renuka Singh has been in the form. So in this bowling line will look like Julan Goswami, Renuka Singh, and Pooja Vastrakar will start with Deepti Sharma and Rajeshwari Gaikwad.
I'm a little surprised to see Deepti
Correct.
Sharma now and not in the power play, because you expect Deepti Sharma to bowl a few power play overs. She didn't do that. She's just come. Oh, that's a good first ball.
Yeah, she's on that.
Sophie Devine just got saved. I think so. This is the second time that's happening. Last time it was Bates. This time it's Devine. Uh,
Correct.
yeah. So
So
Deepti Sharma, I think so. Should bowl a bit more in the power play because that's what she's been doing, and she does it pretty well. So I think so that was more
and
needed. If you're going to play Deepti Sharma, she has to bowl your 4 overs. It's there is no other way that Deepti Sharma plays into that 11. She's not the best of the hitters, so yeah.
So the action is going quite interesting right now. Devine and Bates building up that partnership, that opening stand for New Zealand, giving the team with a solid start out there. So as we are joining in for the live action, it's time for a quick prediction if we can do that. Coming to you, Yash, who do you think is giving that first breakthrough to India? Just a prediction. Let's see if that turns out right.
Oh wow! I don't know who's going to bowl, but I feel it's going to be Deepti Sharma. Maybe this is where she starts off. So I think so. I think so. It's going to be Deepti Sharma for some reason. Shajin may just want to disagree here.
Shajin, your
I will
thoughts?
say, I will say Harman, but it's I don't know how whether she will come into the attack now. If she has had a good time in the WBL 7, but I don't know if she will come on to bowl as she's the captain and there is Sneha Rana also. If
Correct.
Harmanpreet Kaur comes, she will get the break.
Okay, so let's see. Yash
That's the
says
first wicket. Yeah, Deepti Sharma's got it.
so. Yash going correct with his predictions today,
Yes, he's
and
correct this time.
yeah,
That's the
that,
first wicket. Sneha Rana takes the catch.
yes.
Deepti Sharma takes the
And
first wicket. So I really thought it could be Harman, but just because uh, Poonam Yadav has just come on to bowl, Deepti Sharma just come on to bowl, Sneha Rana has not yet bowled. I obviously went ahead with Deepti Sharma because she was the one bowling, and this is the time. If you just see the last 9 or 10 balls, not a lot of action has happened. So Divine was going to go after her, and she just took that catch. It's Amelia Kerr at number 3. That's a
yes,
good start. Kerr missed out on majority of the last year to take a break due to mental health,
correct.
and that break turned out to be really really good for her. I Yeah, I think so. Recently, we guys had a chat with her, and she mentioned that that break really helped her a lot. So she played in February, March against England, after which she went on a break, and she didn't travel down to England. She didn't travel down for the 100. She didn't play that bilateral series against England. And now, yes, she's back. She didn't play the WBBL, but she came back. She played the Super Smash. She's been in good form. and that's what New Zealand would be hoping from her. Amelia Kerr is really that important vital cog in their lineup. They have a lot of all-rounders, but Amelia Kerr is certainly going to be one of their top most things in the years to come.
Correct. So, as you talk about Amelia Kerr getting back after the mental break, so if we talk about her outing in the Super Smash tournament, let me tell you that she has picked up 17 wickets from 11 matches, second highest run getter in the Super Smash as well. She has chipped in some 346 runs, adds so much value to the team, and definitely heading into the World Cup, heading into this New Zealand series as well, she will be a vital player for. New Zealand, and we'd definitely want that. So, your thoughts on Amelia Kerr, Shajid? She's taken
Yeah,
the charge of the badges
I
now.
spoke. Yeah, I spoke to Amelia Kerr recently, and she said the mental health break has really helped her. She didn't take mental health break because she wanted to be away from cricket because cricket is her happy place, but she had troubles with biobuggles and other stuff, so that's why she took the break. And she had great time in the Super Smash. These two are actually the top two run getters of the Super Smash, and she batted number three for Wellington Place most of the time. So she will be looking to target Poonam Yadav here, as she had some fond memories of targeting her in that T20 World Cup. Actually, her highest score
Correct.
came in that
Right.
match. She took four boundaries. She took Poonam Yadav for four boundaries, giving New Zealand a chance in that match, which they eventually went down by 3 runs. So let's see what she does against Poonam Yadav.
Right. So, as we are talking about the mental break thing, so the entire COVID thing that has let the players get into the quarantine and then play the matches, the biosecure bubble, it affects the players as well ahead of the match. And then recently in the presser, our captain Mithali Raj also said that, having a sports psychologist by your side, it helps you understand your own self, to find your own ways to deal with pressure and quarantine. So it gets a bit difficult for the players also to play in that bubble environment and then get out. So your thoughts on that? Yes, we're having a sports psychologist with the team, it would help the side a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to help a lot because mental health, a lot of people do not even understand is a problem. Everyone thinks that, oh, okay, physical injuries are only the problem. I think so. What goes here is also a major problem because that is what is going to define what are you going to do and what are you not going to do. And in this bubble times, I think so. I gave up my queue slot for New Zealand just because they told me that it's going to be a 10-day quarantine if you want to attend the World Cup. And for someone like me, I cannot stay closed indoors. I am happy to be vaccinated, whatever double, triple, whatever number of time. Wear a mask, but go outside. It's very difficult, and I think so. That is how the life has all become now. It's very important for all of us to go outside, enjoy, because that's the only way you're going to um, uh, keep up. But when it comes to New Zealand or any other place, and where the players are playing, then they need to be in a secure environment. Otherwise, what will happen is COVID cases will break out, and matches, you will basically not be able to watch cricket matches. So for fans, it's a problem. For broadcasters, it's a problem. For boards, it's a problem, and of course for players also, it's a problem. And that's the reason they have to go through a stricter regime than many of us who can do a lot of other things. And I think so that is where that mental stress comes at. But at the same time, having a sports psychologist helps because they would know that what exactly are the activities that a certain player would want. I'm sure before starting up, that sports psychologist would have had a chat with nearly all the players, the support staff, coach, everyone on an individual level because everyone has a different tendency to do things. So I was speaking to a player in the Indian team, and she told me that what she needs is basically she plays PUBG with her friends. So I think so that's very much important. Ki, haan, she likes doing that. So that's the reason she's playing PUBG with her friends and keeping herself busy. I asked her that, how are you going to do? How do you survive that 10-day quarantine? And she's like, I play PUBG with my friends. Then there are some people who basically like to keep in touch. So I spoke to another player. She told me, I continuously keep calling my parents. I keep chatting with them every hour, every second hour. I keep talking to my friends. So basically, see, when you are in that, for example, that strict quarantine, which a lot of countries are right now, it's very much important to understand how exactly you can pass your time, because that is very much important. Otherwise, some people may be very comfortable just sitting in the bed and watching a TV or Netflix or something like that, or Amazon Prime, where we are watching this match. But
Correct.
it's not actually the case with everyone. So everyone has a different tendency, and I'm sure that sports psychologists have by now understood that what is the tendency of which player, and accordingly helping them out on a personal level, because it cannot be a group activity. It has to be a very personal level activity. Here we are getting a
Correct.
stat that Susie Bates and Sophie Devine are the first T20 international partnership to score 2,000 runs
2000.
together. That's huge. And Susie Bates was the first one
Yes,
to
shows
reach
how
3,000
powerful they
runs.
are at the top order for New Zealand. Vital Cox shows how, like, as they said, Susie Betts and Sophie Devine's opening partnership stands very important for New Zealand. Sophie Devine, though departed, but she played that quick fire knock, helped New Zealand to get a good start. But then coming
And
to the New Zealand,
and there is another update. Amy Satterthwaite is rested, so there's no
yeah,
injury concern there for New Zealand.
yeah.
Deepti Sharma doing Deepti Sharma things.
Yes,
So
correct.
so she has this habit that a lot of times she will do that half bowling. She'll just show, and she'll understand that what exactly the player is going to do, and basically take that up. I think so. That's very unique, strange, and I think so. It's frustrating for the batter that she's doing this. But of course, it's all legal. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all legal, and then get a wicket there, and then that's what is important for now. And then she has, as you predicted rightly, she has given us our first breakthrough as well. So it's coming to the Annie's Satterthwaite thing only. Then we have that update that she's not injured; she's just rested for this particular match. But then, if we talk about the T20 World Cup, New Zealand did not have a left-hander in their top order there. But then now, even though Annie Satterthwaite is not playing in this game, we'll see her in the ODIs and the World Cup. There is Brooke Holiday playing this match. How does that pose a challenge to India, Shajin?
Yeah, Brooke Holiday is a good option to have in the middle order, and she has been doing well for New Zealand in recent times, and she has good ability to go after the spinners. She can use her feet and go down the track and hit the spinners down the ground. Also, they will be looking for her to target the Indian spinners.
Correct. Target the Indian spinners. So yeah, initially we saw that Simran Dul Bahadur in this match, she came up with she conceded a lot of runs in there. But then we are always talking about that the experience of the pace bowling unit of India. So in the T20s as well, in the ODIs as well, it was the same thing, and probably we expected that Meghna Singh and Renuka Singh Thakur would play this game, but unfortunately they aren't there. So heading into the ODI World Cup, to support Julian Goswami out there, we would want our pacers, Renuka Singh Thakur, Meghna Singh, Pooja Vasrakar, everybody to come into their rhythm to give the India with that promising performances. Yes. So, how do you make? What do you make of the contributions of Meghna Singh Thakur and Renuka Singh Thakur? Though they are not playing this T20I game, but then we would definitely see them in the ODIs and the World Cup to follow, and they
Too
also
early
the
to comment.
experience.
Yeah, I think so. It's too early to comment. If I would have been a selector, I would have not dropped Shikha Pandey. Does not make sense to do that ahead of a big tournament. That's my understanding, at least. But the selectors have taken a decision. Renuka and Meghna are making that World Cup squad. Meghna has played ODIs, has played the ping ball test match in Australia, but that's very much limited. So, and when it comes to Renuka Singh Thakur, she's she's not yet made her debut in the ODI format of cricket. She's played T20s. Again, it's then surprising to see why she's not playing this particular T20 match.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't know, but if at all Renuka and Meghna are in your World Cup squad, I would have played at least one of them in today's T20 in place of Simran Dil Bahadur, because Simran is a which way is your traveling reserve. So why do you want to play her
Correct.
that T20 match? You would want to give your first 15 more chances. I understand Mithali Julan have retired, so they're not playing. Smriti, for whatever reason, is not playing. But I would have expected at least one of Meghna or Renuka to play. But is there a reason similar to Smriti why they are missing? We don't know. Did India
Correct.
only have 11 players to play and those are the ones playing? We don't know. So I think so. A lot of these are questions which need to be answered. Just like we got an update about even Sadatwait being rested. I still understand Sadatwait being rested because they played a lot of Super Smash. But in
Correct.
any Indian player getting rest does not make a lot of sense because they've already rested a lot. They last played in whatever the WBBL. After that, the WBBL or the Senior Women's Domestic Trophy. After that, most of the players have not played. A couple of them played the Challenger. Yastika and Yastika
Yes.
played that challenge. Sneha Rana played that Challenger. Otherwise, all the other players have taken most of their December and January as off. So I don't really understand that why are they not why is anybody being rested if at all they are being rested.
Correct. So we talk about the pace bowling unit of India. We talk about Shikha Pandey not getting into that squad, and then the another talking point for the New Zealand squad out there. So Amelia Kerr is getting on to Sneerana. She gets a four out there.
That's a very bad fielding. What was
Another
Deepti
misfielding
Sharma
from
doing?
India. Deepti Sharma has made one mistake.
Oh wow!
Yeah, correct.
Sneha did well here, but what was Deepti Sharma thinking? I have no idea. She just you just see that fear. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? It just looked like that. I don't understand what was that, because when you're playing international cricket, and I'm sure when you're fielding really at the deep level, the ball is certainly not that fast as, for example, you're bowling. And Deepti Sharma generally is a very good fielder, so I didn't understand what was happening there. Or
And
did she not even expect that the ball was coming to her?
correct.
After
And the very next
11
ball,
overs, it's 79 for one.
yes. So Deepti Sharma giving that four, but then very next ball we saw Sneh Rana, doing that amazing save for India as well. So yeah, definitely we had already talked about the fielding. It heading into the World Cup. Obviously, the team will want to up their marks out there as well. But we're talking about Shikha Pandey's omission from the World Cup squad, from the ODI squad, and then the experience, because in these mega events we often want that the players have experience by their side, though the young talents, the form and everything matters. But then when you talk about these ICC events, it's always like when you have been in that position before, your plans better, and experience always pays off. You can't buy that from any supermarket. So about Shikha Pandey from Indian setup, but then one surprising omission after the New Zealand squad was announced was that of Lee Kasperick, that surprised many. An experienced campaigner coming in with important breakthroughs for the team more often than not. Will that hurt New Zealand somewhere? Or the spin attack consisting of Amelia, Francis McKay still presents itself as a formidable unit, Shajin?
Bold.
Susie Bates just got out 36 of 34 balls.
Yeah,
She
it was.
might have wanted to bat through the innings. Gaikwad has given India the breakthrough. So
Okay.
maybe this is the time India have pulled back things after the power play.
So
They gave
who's coming, Shaji?
out
Who's
only
coming
30
next?
runs
Who's
and
coming
picked
next?
up
Quickly. Who's coming next?
Maddie Green.
Oh, you just saw on the screen.
No, no, I haven't.
So let me just give you a quick
Yeah,
stat here. With fact, the last time Smriti Mandhana wasn't the part of the playing 11, was 24th Feb 2020 in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup against Bangladesh. India had won that match by 18 runs. Shafali and Jami, top scorers with 30 plus runs, and she was not in the playing 11 due to a viral fever. We still don't know what the reason behind Smriti Manna not getting, but then getting back to the Lee Kasparik thing, Shajin, you were adding. Still, the spin attack of New Zealand
Yeah,
looks formidable.
it's very difficult to say. They just wanted to go with the left-arm spinner in Fran Jonas. She's a good prospect, but she's only 17. She will have to
Correct.
learn things on the international circuit. Lee Kasper has been the proven performer for New Zealand in recent times, as well as from 2007, she has been the highest wicket taker for them. But it's difficult to guess with the Maddie Green is there, Francis McKay is there, Rami Satterthwaite can chip in with Ospin. Maybe they thought they will have a left-arm spinner instead of an off spinners. Maybe it has got to do with the team combinations as well. With Amelia Kerr coming back, they will be looking for her to be the frontline spinner. And they have a pace heavy attack with Lee Yataho and as well as Jessica.
Correct. So talking about the batting unit, we just saw that Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, initially they built on the innings for New Zealand, gave a good start to the team. And then probably when we talk about the New Zealand setup, we say that the area that New Zealand probably has their power over, or the area that they dominate, is their all-rounders. So your thoughts on the trio of Sophie Devine, Annie Satterthwaite and Susie Bates. Annie Satterthwaite is not playing this game, but then your thoughts, Yash, on the trio of Sophie Devine, Annie Satterthwaite, and Susie Bates, and how their experience will come handy for the side.
I think so. That is where we started our discussion. And yeah, that is where I think so. We started our discussion and feel very clear that that is that core group that has kept New Zealand here. And that is that core group which is going to be very important if New Zealand would want to repeat the heroics that they did in the year 2000. That was the last time they hosted the ICC 50 over World Cup. They won it at
Yes.
home, and they would want to repeat that same in a month's time, in 2 months' time, April 3rd. And I think so that core group is going to be very, very important. Either of them does not do well, it's going to be a problem, straight problem. You cannot expect a Maddie Green or a Brooke Halliday to win you matches. They're not going to win you matches. So I think so that is going to be very, very important. Uh, yeah.
Correct. So when we talk about the T20 format, the shortest and the most frenetic format of the game, and women's cricket in one of its most exciting formats will make its debut in the Commonwealth Games as well, which is to be played in July. So cricket will be only played for the second time in the Commonwealth Games. So that will also be one thing that the teams will have their eyes fixed on. Shajin?
Yeah, coming back to Maddie Green. Maddie Green actually won New Zealand the last game they won in England. So Maddie Green can actually win games for New
No,
Zealand.
no. So I'm not taking anything away from Maddie Green. I'm just saying that if you see that longer tournament, they're going to play 7 league games. They're going to play against each team, and then if they actually want to win, they will have to play the semi-finals and finals. So if you see that entire thing, these are going to be very important. Maybe Maddie Green wins you one match max, but if you really want, your Divine will have to do 3 odd matches or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For the fourth semi-final spot, it might come down to these two teams. So India versus New Zealand match is going to be crucial at the World Cup. So let's see if Sophie Devine can win them. Those.
I have a different view here. I just feel it's going to be South Africa versus New Zealand. Australia, England, and India should comfortably make that thing. England might still be in doubt for me, because if you see the recent times or whatever, in the last 4 years they haven't been able to find a batting partner at the top for with Tammy Beaumont. Tammy has been doing really well, but they don't really know that who's going to open with her. They tried Wyatt for about 2.5 years. She then was dropped down the order after the New Zealand tour last year. So she's effectively played 2 series at number 6 or 7. And now, if you see at the top, they played Winfield Hill for whatever those 2 series. And last game, I was a bit shocked. They just played MLM. So, and they're are they announcing the squad today? They are announcing something like that, right? So
England will announce the squad today.
yeah, so England is announcing the squad today.
So we will see if Lauren Winfield makes the squad, or will MLM keep her place from the last one.
Yeah, so it's and it will be really wrong to leave out Winfield Hill like at the edge of everything. So it will be really wrong that way. So of course that's not for taking. She should be playing. There is no second debate there. Of course, but do you again want Wyatt at the top just because she's more aggressive and can put pressure on the opposition? That is something that I would want to see when it comes to England.
Definitely, that would be one thing.
Selections. Okay, you can go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to selections, England have always been conservative. They rarely give chances to new players, so it was surprising to see Emma Lamb going ahead. But Lisa Ketley clarified that they just wanted to rest some players. There is nothing much to it. We will see once they announce the squad today. I think both Lauren Winfield and Emma Lamb might make it as a traveling result. They can decide who will open the batting once the global event starts. Maybe Danny White can have a go at the opening slot since she's the T20 opener and she can be a aggressive option, as just said.
Right. So,
Shajin, what's your Ashwini? Shajin, what's your 15-member squad for England now?
So I have to think. Lauren Winfield Hill, Tammy Beaumont, Heather Knight, Natalie Silver, so Sophia Dunkley, Amy Jones, Catherine Run, Sophia Eccleston, Kate Cross, Anya Shrubsole, Sarah Glenn, Charlie Dean, Freya Davis, and who is missing? It's 14 only, so I will have to think of 15.
So do you see Maddie Villiers or someone playing? Or do you see Natasha Farren playing?
Maddie Villiers, Natasha Farren might make it to the 15, but she might not be part of the playing 11.
Yeah, so 15. So you missed Farren. So 15 is Farren for that matter.
No, I added Farren.
Hill.
Yeah, you can view your 15 and decide.
Okay, so Winfield Hill, Wyatt, Beaumont, Knight, Silver, Jones, Dunkley. So my pacers would be Brunt, Cross, Farrant, Davis. 4. Eccleston.
Sarah
Glenn.
Sarah Glenn.
Yeah. How many are done? 13 or 14?
I think I missed Wyatt only. I missed Wyatt.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's nearly the 15.
One of Emma Lamb and Evelyn Jones will make the traveling reserves along with Lauren Bell and Maddie Villiers.
So no May Boucher for you?
Maya Boucher might not be there. Maybe they will go with Georgia Elvis as well in case of they don't want to go with another off-spinner in Maddie Villiers.
Right. So Yash and Shajin have predicted their 11s for the England setup. Getting back to this action, so even after losing 2 wickets, New Zealand have looked pretty decent on the field. They're trying to build on their innings. 14 overs done right now. So like just now we asked Yash about the first breakthrough, who would provide with the first breakthrough. He got that prediction right. So let's just take a quick prediction on what would be the first inning score. Yash and Shajin, both of you guys. 14 overs are done by now.
Yes, 160 plus. They will score another 58 runs
You
in the next
you
6
can't say
overs.
160 plus. That would be a very safe answer, Shajin. Just give us a
So
four. We can give
150,
you a 4 runs margin, but then
158. 158. It depends on
What
the
one
okay.
spin.
So
160 plus is not 158.
So she wanted to
correct.
predict me the exact score.
But still, if you said 160 plus, it should be somewhere close. At least it should be above 160, whatever you would say.
No,
Fine to
5
one.
रन का मार्जिन तो इधर उधर चलता है.
So I'll go with 148.
Yes, 148. So let's see if this time also Yash gets it right, or
And
Shajin.
that's the physio has come on the field. Bates, so Kerr has just the ball just hit Kerr's helmet, and that's the new norm. That
Yes.
the physio comes on the ground to check for a concussion. He asks a few, she asks a few questions and to check whether the player is fit and ready to play or not. Uh, yeah, so he's right now asking a few questions.
Yes, and we've seen that this new norm coming, the physios coming in after that concussion thing, and then we have the replacements of the players as well. So it is very
Yeah,
important to take into account the safety of the players as well. So both of them, Yash and Shajin, have predicted their scores for the first innings. Let's see
I think so.
if
She's got a go there, and she's continuing.
yes, all good to go. Right. Mm, correct. So if we move ahead, like okay, so it seems right now Amelia Kerr is getting back into the action. So Pooja Vastrakar is coming in with the ball again here, and then definitely she'll also want that she doesn't allow Amelia Kerr and Maddie Green to sort of take the innings forward and get a breakthrough out there. It would be important. Sneh Rana also bowled previously, and then I was getting to that point of Sneh Rana. She looked good in the England series as well. She was injured, dropped from the Indian team, and then made a good comeback. So, what role of Sneh Rana do you see in the team? Yes, because she'd be important with the bat as well, lower down the order.
If you ask me, I would prefer her to Dipti Sharma with the way she's been closing innings and everything. She's been doing
Yes,
that pretty much consistently. So yeah, that is very much important. Sneha Rana, I think so in the ODI side becomes more important because if you see that ODI setup, Shafali, Smriti, Yastika, Mithali, Harman. So that five is set. Six, Richa Ghosh. Seven, so for that matter, six can even be Sneha Rana. So if you want
right.
someone to play as the anchor as well as maybe take out a few gaps or something, that's where Sneha Rana's position comes in 6, 7, 8. So that's Rana, Vastrakar, and Ghosh are going to be your 6, 7, 8. However, you plan it out. Even if you're playing Deepti Sharma, I would play her even down the order because if she plays, either she plays at that number 3, number 4 slot, which is right now very much fixed, that's another wicket. Pooja Vastrakar has
Yes,
taken another wicket. Amelia Kerr is gone. And Amelia Kerr is gone of 17 of 19 balls. So not a
yes.
really great score that way. Um,
That would definitely give a good momentum to Pooja Vastrakar. She'll have her spirits high, finally getting a big breakthrough, another wicket for India. The third wicket
and,
falls for
and
India.
and that's going to boost the spirit of Shafali Verma as well. She's taken a wicket, so
Yeah.
she's taken a catch. So fielding has
Yes.
not been her best thing. Hi Ankit, welcome.
Hi, Yash.
Yes. So we
So
have Ankit
yeah,
as
coming
well.
back to Rana, I think so that 6, 7, 8 is going to be very, very important for India in the World Cup, and I would want to see Rana in that 6, 7, 8. For Deepti
Correct.
Sharma, either she plays at that number 3, 4 slot, or she just plays as a bowler. If you want to have her in the 11, so she does not make my first 11, but of course, I don't see the Indian team dropping her in any way.
Correct. that she would definitely be an important factor for Team India. So we've been joined with Ankit. He has joined us in this discussion. So welcome Ankit to this live session, and hope yeah. So we've been following this first inning. So your first thoughts on New Zealand's innings so far, Ankit?
First of all, thank you for having me, guys. And New Zealand has been going great, like till now for me. I mean, yeah, they had minor blips in between, and they could have ended up like they could end up with much more if not for the Susie Bates and Sophie Devine's timely wickets. So I guess India can still control it, but they've got a good platform still, right? Still, they've got a good platform to end up on a very good total. So I guess it's going pretty great for them. We need a few more wickets.
Correct. We need a few more wickets because the opening batters, we just gave a quick stat in the some time ago that they've about the opening partnership between Susie Bates and Sophie Devine, both of them giving New Zealand a good start. I'll just repeat that start for the people who have joined in just now. Susie Bates and Sophie Devine are the first T20 international partnership to score 2,000 runs together, and that is huge, and that is definitely going to be a big positive for New Zealand heading into the ODI series and the World Cup as well. So just we took in prediction from our panelists Yash and Shajeen have kind of given their predictions on the first innings score. So 158 is what Shajeen said, and around 148, I guess, is what Yash predicted. So Ankit, what do you think will be the first innings score, and how much are New Zealand putting on board for India? Sorry,
My
Ankit.
prediction,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, my prediction would be around 153, 153 to 155. Yeah,
Okay, so
because
close
I
enough
do
to.
expect late order blitz from New Zealand, and we know that our death overs bowling hasn't always been as good as comparatively to other teams. So I guess I expect them to go for that late order blitz.
Correct. So we have now talking like we have Leah Tahuhu getting into the attack. She's been promoted up the order. Shajin, your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
I said that Leah Tahuhu is getting on the charge now, and your thoughts on Shajin? She being promoted up the order.
Yeah, she has had a great time in the Super Smash, smashing all the bowlers, if you can say that way. She is always the
Yes.
big hitter, and she can provide the impetus for the New Zealand side to reach the my predicted score of 158.
Correct. And we'll have to see how she built the innings from here along with Maddie Green. So 109 is like 16th over is going on, four more overs to go. So the kind of the way with which New Zealand started their innings, definitely we thought that they would be like scoring more, and but now it would be for us to see how both of them take the innings forward for New Zealand. So we were just talking about the bowling attack of India as well. The lineup, there are a bit of contrast between the two lineups, Ankit. So India have went with a lot of spinners in the side today. Unlike New Zealand, they have a good mix of both the spin and the pace. So your thoughts on the lineups for today's match, Ankit?
Yeah, it's a very interesting observation. This is not a very spin-friendly surface, as we would say, and yeah, even Rebecca Steele was mentioning that. But it's been really good to see the way our spinners have been, functioning. It has been really tight, and they've bowled stump to stump. And like in contrast to our pacers, I guess our spinners were much better. I would believe. So yeah, that's a good thing. And going ahead in the series, that is something of an advantage for us because our spinners they don't really give a lot of pace to the ball, and that is something which New Zealand would be wary about. It was very difficult for them to pick up Poonam Yadav as well as we saw and Sneh Rana as well. So I guess this is something our spinners have done better than the last series. They were off color. We saw that in England and Australia. They were not at the peak of their game, at the top of their game. But just looking at this game, it has been a good start till now. So I guess this should be continued, and I'll be really happy to see that.
Yes, as you rightly said, Ankit, that they looked a bit out of form. Like apart from Rajeshwari Gaikwad, everybody has struggled. Rajeshwari Gaikwad looked in good touch in the Australia series. And Shajin, I'll come to you with the next question here. So, as we were talking, like before the match started, we were just talking about the spinners in different form for India. But then now we're seeing Deepti Sharma giving the first breakthrough to India, and then looking decent on the field right now. So that would be a great positive for Team India, the form of the spinners going ahead in the ODI series and in the World Cup as well.
It's difficult to predict from here because they haven't struggled as much as they struggled in the ODIs. T20Is is a different format, and
Correct.
they don't have any problem or bowling restrictive lines in T20Is. They will need to provide breakthroughs in the ODI format. So I will be keenly watching to see if they can provide those things in the coming up 4 5 matches. But here, Deepti Sharma has done well. Poonam Yadav is bowling the 17th over. I think they will finish with Poonam, Deepti, and Pooja Vastraka's final over.
Correct. So it would be for us to watch what how the spinners are taking the game forward. Definitely would be one thing to watch out for India. And then talking about the New Zealand squad, so Amelia Kerr, she departed, but then she was back with the after a mental break and then good form from the Super Smash tournament. So Amelia Kerr's contribution definitely goes very important for New Zealand. She comes like in the Super Smash, she's chipped in some 346 runs, highest run getter in the tournament, 17 wickets from 11 matches. Your thoughts on the role of Amelia Kerr in the squad, Ankit?
Yeah, yeah, like you said, the way her Super Smash went, I think she has been in a rich vein of form till now, and she's one of the most crucial figures right now, vital cog in the New Zealand lineup going into the World Cup, and she would be, the one holding the middle order right now because Sophie and Susie have been giving those amazing starts, but the middle order of New Zealand has been kind of shaky for a while, in ODIs particularly, because when it comes to the middle overs, they're not able to, like get through it most of the time, mostly against the slower bowlers as well. In the last few World Cups as well, New Zealand hasn't been at the top of their game, I would believe, because like right through the 90s, I would say New Zealand was much better team in World Cups, but it hasn't been the same form that they have been able to replicate till now. So I guess Amelia Kerr would be a key, holding the middle order and getting through those crucial overs. So, and her form actually is a good reflection of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that because yeah, she's a superstar.
So Tahuhu hitting a six off Poonam's last ball. So definitely her promotion, she's showing that that power hitting abilities she has, and definitely that would be a good positive for New Zealand because they need to chip in quick runs from here. They have got a good start and they need to capitalize on that. So that New Zealand, sort of put that big total for India. So Tahuhu getting into the attack with Poonam Yadav. Maddie Green, on the other hand, so if you see she's not out at 25, have faced 18 deliveries so far, and Tahuhu at 11, facing seven deliveries. So what do you make of her promotion, Ankit? She's promoted up the order. What could be the thoughts of the New Zealand setup going back there?
Yeah, like looking at her form recently, Tahu has been pretty good with her lead order strikes. So I believe it is a pretty good decision. And like just looking at the game right now where it is set up, New Zealand needed someone from the lower order to come up and give those like long handles, long levers, and I think Tahu is doing a pretty fine job till now. Like she started well, but I don't know how it is going to end up. Given Green also is like playing really well currently, it's kind of an even mix.
Yes.
But the thing is, one has to be an aggressor here, and I think Tahu should be the one who should be taking more risks because she has, she can take those risks right now, and Maddie should be
And
the
that's
one
what
who
you expect.
should be the one
Correct.
stabilizing it. So I guess it's a
And
pretty
that's
good
what you
decision.
Yeah, that's what you probably expect from a player who's promoted up the order, that they just go there, they play their natural game, hit those big boundaries, and chip in those quick runs for the team. Definitely. So we have Kalyani also joining us for the live session. Welcome, Kalyani. So as I start, what do you make of New Zealand's innings so far?
if you look at it, it has been a typical New Zealand innings where your top order batters go hard. I'm not surprised by at all by
There's a
Liatao's
wicket there.
promotion. Uh,
Mary can just go on.
Yes,
Our spirit is
Deepti
having a
Sharma
party.
yet again.
is
So
it
that
the
there's this. Yes, Kalyani, you can continue.
Yes, I'm not surprised at all by Liatahu's promotion. She was exceptional in the entire Super Smash, and I think she scored some 45 runs in last 5 overs. I don't remember who it was against for Canterbury Magicians in the Super Smash. I'm not really surprised by her promotion. She has that capacity to hit out, and yeah, she'll take risk. There is no need for anyone else to take a risk at this moment, given the situation of the things. And the thing about Liatahu that I've observed in last few years, apart from her bowling, which has always been her strengths, there's no doubt about it, but her batting, she has improved. And I think the okay uh, the thing about Tahuhu is that when she came back from the injury and went through all the little bit of cancer scare and all those things, as a person, when you look at it, as a player, you look at it, you understand that there is a player, there is a person behind that, everything that happens behind that player. And I think her being very open about what she has talked, and I think that has also helped her game in a very positive way. And now that she has been part of the squad ahead of the World Cup, I think it's probably one of the most positive things for New Zealand, because then you have, instead of having a longish tail, you have someone who can bat and can bat positively and take on the attack. So I think her promotion, I'm not absolutely surprised by it given her form in the domestic competitions, but I absolutely wish her well, because she's been through a lot in these few years.
Correct. And now she's making the most of her promotion, hitting
Yeah,
two consecutive boundaries out there. So definitely that is going to help New Zealand, and she's making the decision prove come right for her. Tahuhu, 19 runs, 19 runs, just faced 10 deliveries out there. So that is going to be very important for New Zealand. Also, Kalyani, in the past, if we talk about the form of the New Zealand team in this format, that hasn't been quite pleasant against England. They came close on a few occasions, got the momentum, couldn't capitalize on that. So, might be to finish things off, you need a player there. They have this issue of not finishing things off, and capitalizing on the momentum has probably plagued them. So for that to not repeat here in this match, maybe we're seeing that they're making a few changes out there. So your thoughts on that?
See, it's more on the lines of, I think both teams are going into this T20I thinking about this probably is their last chance going, because this is the dress rehearsal of a dress rehearsal if we look at it. And going into the ODI series, there's no, I would like to think that the plan for the ODI series is to work, not work on the problems, but execute them in the match scenarios, and that will be their aim. So going into all these things, this is probably their best opportunity to look out for players that they are going to play. And T20 is such a fickle format that it's one day you are on the top of it and the other day there's nothing going on for you. So I think given all the situation, that this one T20 gives them opportunity to go through the things that probably can go wrong in the match situation and work out their plans accordingly. So even when whatever their record against England, or they played against Australia last year, one of the most amazing matches that happened in the second T20, where Madigan's French cut basically won them the match against Nicola Carey's bowling in the final over. But the thing about the T20 is that it's such a difficult format to master. That's why whatever happens today is, if you look at it from the point of view of World Cup, it's just an opportunity to hone their plans for whatever it is. And the thing with New Zealand after, I think, 2016 World Cup, where they failed to make the semi-final, they failed to make the final. They played against West Indies, one of the cracking matches of the World Cup I have ever seen, that semi-final. And from that point onwards, it has been a little downhill for them. Didn't make in the 2017 semi-final, didn't make in the 2018 T20 World Cup, didn't make it in 2020 World Cup. And they were in a difficult group, no doubt about that. They had to get through India and Australia to go into that semi-final. But to have to be, they were the top, one of the top three teams, and to see that they are not that anymore, it's always the sign that other teams are also improving at the same time. But to have New Zealand, the stronger New Zealand is better for the, the cricketing world, if I say so. And I think that is the exact thing. They are the most, one of the most improved teams in last 3 4 years. I would give them that credit. And I think
Correct.
they, whatever happened against England happened against England. So I think going forward,
And it's
they
a
have to,
wicket.
yeah, and
It's a
that
wicket. Finally, Tahuhu
Fine.
is
yeah.
departing. So I was just going to talk about it, consecutive boundaries, but she's done her job, accelerated the innings for New Zealand, pretty much what was expected of her. Ankit?
Yeah, it was almost near the predictable score that we had on the shelf that we were, yeah.
Correct.
So I guess he has brought New Zealand pretty like in a formidable position right now, and they are still looking good to get to the 150 plus score that we were talking about. So yeah, she has
Correct.
completely done her job, and like the faith that was put in her, she has done it really well.
That's a
Definitely. So
decent
that's
strike rate for a bowler.
correct, and that is going to play as a big role for New Zealand. Like they would take the positives from this game heading into the five-match ODI series and the ODI World Cup. Going to be definitely Liata who will make that impact for the team, and that a trailer of it is shown to us in this match. But then we just asked about the score, the prediction for the first inning score, what India would get on board. Ankit has given his score to us. Yash and Shajin, both of us told their scores. What are your predictions? If I could ask you, Kalyani, what do you?
It's tricky because Katie Martin, I think
See
I
if you
just
get
saw
it
a
right
tweet.
because Yesh got a right. We asked about the first breakthrough and he predicted it to be Deepthi and she gave first breakthrough. So let's see if you could do it. He has said 148. Shajin has said 158. And sorry, I forgot what did you say, Ankit? It was around 150.
153.
153. So yeah, and Katie Martin has got into the charge now with the bat. So if I could give you a quick stat related to it, she needs just 13 runs to complete her 1000 T20I runs, an experienced campaigner out there. So yes, Kalyani, your prediction.
And celebrated her birthday recently, Katie Martin, honey Katie Martin, one of the most hilarious people on the circuit. And yeah, Katie Martin, I think, became the fourth player who plays most cricket for New Zealand. The longest span of the career. I'll go with the 1 over remaining. I think I'll go with 150 plus. That's it. I'm not going to go with the exact number, but I think 150 plus is what New Zealand will aim to go with.
150 plus
Halliday
is a
and
safe
Martin
answer.
at six.
Shajin gave that answer and I didn't take it. So just be a bit of specific. We could give you that 3 4 runs ka margin, but
Let me
then
just see who is bowling the over, then I'll get back to you. It's Poonam Yadav. So I think it will be 150 on sharp 150.
correct. So
Yeah.
let's see whose predictions goes right there,
Is there any
and
prize for that if the prediction is right?
we might think of it at the end of the day.
They're putting
We
her
can think
all of her money right there.
Yes, as it should
yes.
be.
Correct. And we were talking about the like Poonam Yadav has got into the attack now. We were talking about the form of the spinners. Deepti Sharma, of course, she gave us the first breakthrough, and then Rajeshwari Gaikwad in the recent series or T20I series against Australia, she looked in good form. And then heading into this five-match ODI series and the World Cup, the form of the spinners, we were talking about their average of Deepti Sharma, of Poonam Yadav. So how important it will be for them to, sort of get their momentum in the ODI World Cup so that they could continue that, get their momentum in the five-match ODI series so that they can continue it in the ODI World Cup. Ankit, about the spinners?
Pardon.
I was talking that we're talking about the form, indifferent form of the Indian spinners. So we were talking about the average of Poonam Yadav, of Deepti Sharma, a bit of concerning factor for Team India. But then heading into the 5-match ODI series, which is to be followed, they would want to get that momentum so that in the ODI World Cup they're all set to go. And then we would definitely want our spinners. Rajeshwari Gaikwad, for that matter, has looked in very good form, and she's been an experienced campaigner for Team India and a proven performer. So, what do you make of the spin attack of Indian team heading into the ODI World Cup?
Yeah. So, like even Shajin mentioned before, I guess we'll have to look through the whole five ODI series first to make an opinion on that, because we know how New Zealand pitches play and how it's not easy to bat on here. With our spinners, they were out of form in the last two series and they were not at the top of their game. So, coming into this series, there will be a lot more pressure on them. I know, like they have been delivering goods in this match, but the thing is, like T20 is a very fickle game, and
Correct.
yeah, like you have said, T20 is a very fickle game, and I really won't be reading a lot into it. But yeah, Rajeshwari Gaikwad has been delivering the goods for us, even in the series which had gone by, and even when our spinners were not at the top of their game. So there are some things, some areas of concern, and on these kind of pitches, it is important not to give them the pace. The batters, they like the pace here, and Poonam Yadav is a pretty good, is a pretty good contender for that, and she should make it to the team for that. And we know India is a spin dominated, like a team. Like naturally, we have been traditionally playing a spin based attack with Jhulan
Correct.
around or there, Shikha Pandey not around there, we are lacking the experience. So we are going to rely on the our spin attack, because most of
Correct.
our pacers who are very young, they are coming like for the first time. They are playing into the World Cup as well. Most of them like directly are just one series old. This has been their first series for some, so there will be a lot of pressure on them. So most of the heavy lifting has to be done by the spinners, and we have some really experienced players there. Sneha Rana, I think she should be the one first on the team sheet. That I believe that she should be the second or third name, because she has these all-round abilities. She also gives that batting depth to us. She's also pretty good with the bowling and her fielding, like we have seen today. She has been exemplary in the field. She has been all around everywhere. So yeah, going into the World Cup, I believe we'll have to look at our spinners, because they are going to be like important figures there in our squad.
Definitely, that would be a factor to look out for. And then the New Zealand innings, if you're talking about the last ball to go, 154 so far. And then we've already passed your prediction, Kalyani, on that. So, so close enough. If I can say that Ankit and Shajin are quite close enough, we will have to see what the last ball has in store.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's my
yes.
prediction, because I said 153 to 155.
Yeah, so pretty much close. I gave a 4 or 5 run ka margin. So even Kalyani and Shajin comes, like all of you guys have given that quite enough. So 156 is what India will have to chase. And then again, we talk about the Indian batting unit. We don't have Smriti Manna today. The reason yet to be out. But then taking the charge, what responsibility will be on Shafali Verma to take on the innings, and also what should be their approach when they take the charge of the field. 156 is their target. So Kalyani, what can be the approach? Because we've seen that the middle order has a bit of a have struggled in the past. So what do you think should be the approach of Team India?
So I think it was February 24th, 2020, when the last time India played without Smriti Mandhana in their playing 11. So it was a match, World Cup match against Bangladesh, and the two players that like Tanya Bhatia opened the batting with Shafali Verma in that match. And it is interesting to know because she has batted at all the positions, Tanya Bhatia, and we are yet not sure where she should bat. But in that match, it was two players who actually were very good with the bat, and those were Shafali Verma and Jamima Rodriguez. We don't have Jamima on this tour, of course, and but Shafali took that responsibility in that match. He scored some 39 odd runs, and they were able to chase this. That was not a massive score, it was in 130s that score was. The point of saying this is that I think that was the inning personally for me where it happened that Shafali was a kind of a player who can take that kind of responsibility. That is where the kind of pendulum shift over her direction, that this is the player we you can take a responsibility, and I think she will play that role. And going into this second innings is going to be on her mostly. But looking at this, I've been repeating myself and I'm bored of it now. But the T20 as a format is a very fickle game, and at the end of the match, whatever happens, the approach should be to take on the attack, because they're going to be coming hard at New Zealand will be coming hard at India, and that uh, kind of is what the dress rehearsal is all about. That you get the opportunity to look at your opponents and then plan accordingly for whatever is in the store for the future. So, Ankit, 156. None of us got that right, the prediction, but are we happy with it?
Yeah, no, actually, I got the prediction right. I said 153 to 155.
Close
I
enough.
Yeah, I mean it is a pretty good total. We don't have Smriti Mandana at the top of the order, and yeah, we have a shaky middle order as well. So just looking into that, it is a pretty good total in front of us, and India has their task cut right now. Uh, I had one question regarding that. S. Meghna, she's coming back into the Indian team after a very long time. She played for India last time in 2016.
16, yes.
And like you mentioned, that Shafali Verma has to take that responsibility. But what I feel is Meghna is also a very cool-headed person, and she's the one who can do that and play that role, and which will make Shafali play her natural game as well. So, what do you think of S. Meghna and her being at the top of the order and her comeback? What do you make of it?
I think it's kind of a feel good story that she's back in the team. And I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't sure if she'll get the opportunity anywhere during this series, or uh, World Cup is very far from now. But like, I think I wasn't sure about that. I'm not going to be honest. But looking at her form and looking at the way she handled the things in the domestic circuit throughout the year, I think that will give her the confidence to take on these bowlers that kind of some of them, the domestic bowlers, yes, where there's similarity into these bowlers. And I think she'll get that opportunity, she'll get that confidence in going into this match, that yes, probably I can come back and have my place in this team. And looking at the if we look at the domestic structure in isolation for a moment, I think she was one of the players who got better and better as the series went along. And I think, as you mentioned, she's the cool-headed person, and with Shafali at the other end, I think they are very like kind of a match made for each other, I would say. And I think that will definitely be a good thing for. It will be very interesting to see how they approach it, of course. And I think that will be a great thing to look out for.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to her comeback because it's been a long time we have seen her in the national colors. Yeah, we have Yash with us again. Welcome back, Yash. What do you make of
Hi,
this total?
Ankit.
What do you make of this total?
I think so. India is going to find it very, very difficult to uh, basically chase this down, unless and until Shafali Verma goes berserk or something like that happens, or we see what Harman did during the WBBL is only these two conditions that India have a chance to win. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. Like you just see what New Zealand has done. You just see from there to this, it's going to be very difficult to what is happening. I have my share of doubts. I think so. New Zealand have a score wherein they should be winning this. They have Jesker, they have Lietahu, they have Amelia Kerr, they have Hanaro. So I think so that they are in the front seat. I have my doubts. I don't think so that India is going to win today. What do you guys feel?
It's
Kalyani?
tricky. It's going to be a tricky. Sorry, Ankit. It's going to be a tricky chase. Not it's as you said, it's dependent on two three players. And but I would certainly say that there is no harm in going all gun blazing from the first ball. If they can, very good. If there is some kind of, there is nothing that holding them back. It's just one match and there's not riding upon this thing. So just go all guns blazing. Get your look at it as a warm up for the things that are to be there, and just like swing hard. That's what I think will be the. And if it is the if you're looking, because this match will not give them any opportunity to have doing it in a strategic manner or whatever it is. So just giving themselves opportunity to go ahead and just look at this target as something if they can achieve. And this is something what happened. I would like to take people back to that infamous second ODI against Australia. The kind of amount of runs McLanning was saying her team would like to chase in a 10 overs. I was surprised by it that she was saying they would like to chase 90 odd runs. So this is the scenario where India can potentially say that, or probably if the situation like this comes in, we might have to do such a thing where we have to chase a very steep target in limited overs. This might be their opportunity to see how the batters can go in that kind of a situation, and this might be just their opportunity to look at those games in this scenario, I think.
That was a lot philosophical. I just want to ask very simple: who's winning this particular match? Simple as
New
that.
Zealand
First,
might just take the cake today.
okay, New Zealand. Ankit, they're supporting India, New Zealand.
Of course, I'm supporting India, but I also feel
Who's
that
winning
New
it?
Zealand is going to. Yeah,
So all
I
I'm
also
saying is
feel
New
that.
Zealand favorites. Everybody, everyone is saying New Zealand are favorites, but everyone would want India to basically start the tour off with a win. Let's see if that happens or not. Let's come down to that first innings. If we just see the scorecard, Pooja Vastrikar has been that pick of the bowlers, 2 for 16 in 4 overs. I don't really understand why Poonam Yadav bowled that last over. Uh, did you also feel that Arana should have bowled, or maybe even a Harman should have bowled, because she generally bowls well at the death?
Ankit, would you like to take this one?
Yeah. Um, I personally feel that someone like Harman should have come at this point of time because, yeah, like she usually does that. And other than that, I was pretty much impressed with our spinners like this whole innings. Our pacers, most of them, the young ones, this Simran or what do you say, like Simran coming into this match, she was a bit off. Like she started really well and then she went into this, you know, like she had a really horrid over going ahead with Sophie Divine going berserk all over the ground, and then she was not able to come back with that confidence either. So I believe that Harman probably wanted to take that safer option where she was relying more on Poonam because she was doing. She didn't really had a very really bad match as such. Poonam, she had a few off overs, but she was pretty good for me at least. Other than
Surprise,
that, Pooja was
surprise. There is a surprise on the ground. Yastika Bhatia has come out to call it, not S. Meghna.
wow.
Oh,
He is
Now this
opening
is
with
actually a surprise.
Shefali Verma. Yeah, Ankit, you continue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me, another thing was that the re-emergence of Pooja Astrakar that we have seen in last two, three, series. It has been pretty good to see. It's really heartening to see that she's taking a spearhead role that was with Shikha Pandey or Julian Goswami before. So yeah, that's a good thing to see. So that the peace attack of India can develop around these like Pooja Astrakar. So yeah, let's see what happens there. And
Kalyani, Yastika is opening. What's your take there? No S. Meghna,
they
sure?
I think they just want to keep the left hand right hand combo intact. I think they just that might just be the strategy behind it.
But do
Not
you
shocked.
feel it makes sense for S. Meghna to be there in the team and not open? Oh, dropped first ball.
Uh, uh,
Yastika
uh,
is dropped first ball at the first slip by Maddie Green.
wow, that's
wow.
That
interesting.
was a difficult
Interesting
one, but
set
yeah,
of events.
difficult one, but dropped.
Yeah. I think they just want to make sure that she gets enough match time. I think Yastika also. She takes a time, little bit of a time to settle in her innings, but when she gets going, it helps her. And I think to have someone like Yastika at the other hand when Shefali is at one end, I think it makes sense to me. But again, it fell. I think it fell short. Jasker is having a day out there,
Just to
and
add a little, this T20 feels like more of a mini dress rehearsal for the ODIs going ahead. We know,
yeah,
so we are not really looking much into it or reading a lot into the way it is going ahead. Like Smriti Mandana
But
basically.
Ankit, then do you feel Yastika will be your backup opener at the World Cup, or will Meghna come in case something happens to Shafali or?
I mean, that would be a, as Meghna hasn't got that game time at the top of the order. If she would have got, I would have actually thought about it. But I don't think if Jastika has been sent up at the order, then maybe the management is looking into it and they are seriously considering her as a backup opener. So if they were actually looking at as Meghna to be in the opener role, then surely she would have been here. But I don't know how much chance she's going to get ahead, going ahead into the tour where Smriti Mandana would be playing. And I still don't know if Smriti Mandana, we don't have a explanation why she has missed out on this match, because it could be anything else. It's not just about experimentation.
and and
So
and
that,
and, and the point is she is not at the ground.
exactly,
So
that also becomes a bit more enigmatic. We are not very sure.
right, and now the thing. So during my little break, what I was doing was I was just going and seeing their photos. The last 3 4 days when they have been outside, what has been happening? I was just seeing their photos, and Smriti Mandanam seems to be missing from all the outing photos. So what has exactly happened? Why is she not going on outing? All of this now remains a question. It could be like everybody is, of course it's not that dangerous now anymore, but has someone got COVID, so is someone in isolation, everything remains up in the air because nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah. I wish we get those
that's
answers soon. Oppose this T20.
Yeah, I just hope we get it before that, because this does not look good, at least on everyone's part. We should be knowing the answer that what's exactly happening. And if we just saw the batting card, we just saw the scorecard right now on the screens. S. Meghna seems to be drafted at that number 5 6 position. Harman is there, Deepthi is there, and after that, S. Meghna. Do you guys feel it makes sense for Meghna to play at number 6? She should have opened, because any which ways, if you're playing her, then you better play her at the position she feels comfortable. Otherwise, playing her at a position she's not comfortable, does that make a lot of sense to you guys?
I think it's more on the lines of because will play some of those matches in the ODI and World Cup. I think it's more on the lines of to give her the match time because she has never been in this condition before. And there's not much, as I said before, there's not much riding on this match, and it's the one of T20. And I think it's probably best for India to have that kind. It's for yeah, it's better for Yastika if in case there is something in this she has to open the batting in ODIs also. You have that kind of experience and to face the likes of they have been New Zealand has gone with Kerr and Rove in first 2 overs, but even if they go with, let's say, for the likes of Tahu, who you're facing that new ball, you're facing it on the New Zealand pitches where you have not played it before. Let's just get around with whatever the situation is, whatever the pitches are going to be like. They're not going to be a lot of difference in those pitches. So I think this I look at it as a smart move because then you know that yeah, this players are sorry. S Meghna might not even play in all of the any of these ODIs or anyway later. But yeah, Yastika is just sure short thing that she might just play in any of one of these matches, and I think that's why it makes sense to me. What do you think, Ankit?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question, Kalyani.
Oh, it's about having not having Ace Meghna open the batting.
Yeah, I mean, on the management part, it is a very dicey situation because, like Yash also mentioned, If she's not comfortable playing in the middle order, then that would be really weird for her to as well, coming there. If we are not actually looking at her to be like in the World Cup squad right now,
Yeah,
like to be playing right in the 11. And if she was considered as the like a backup opener, then she should have played at the top order. It's like a lot of answers there, a lot of questions, but we don't have answers.
that's a
We
short.
also have
Yeah,
we don't really have a understanding of what happened with Smriti Mandra as well. So I believe S. Meghna shouldn't have been drafted there. She should have opened for the team today, because she has been playing with Railways also at the top, and she has been
yes,
scoring bulk of her runs there. The way she has
absolutely.
played her season was amazing. So it just deceives me. What
Correct.
I think it's it on the lines of why as we have I think we have mentioned it multiple times about this dress rehearsal. I think it's just throwing everyone the chance to do whatever they want to do at this moment, and I think it will be we'll be able to say what if it worked or didn't work after the result only. But right now, I think it was a good shot by Yastika, and I think she's looking good to me. So let's see how it goes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
One thing
we are
that coming
talking.
into the series I was wary about was us not playing musical chairs again. Like that has been happening so many times. The musical chairs, they keep happening, and like by the end of this series, the right combination for the team, like we are expecting to have that, to have a settled lineup at the end of it. But just going into this match right now, I don't think we should be reading much into it, and we'll get a
Absolutely.
better understanding in the ODI series. But still, it throws up a lot more questions and then giving us answers. So it doesn't really help for us, and it is just complicating things more, like complicating things a lot more for us. So let's
Absolutely.
see what happens by the end of it, because I hope Harman and the management clears up what's the situation
Yep.
right now.
Correct. So as we're talking about the batting unit of Team India, a lot changes out there. The absence of Smriti Mandhana brings in Yastika Bhatia to open, but we all were, sort of thinking that as Meghna will take the first ball. But then yes, she is opening the innings for Railways as well. But then the right-left combination was. Do you think that could be a factor, Kalyani?
Yeah, I think they look going forward. They just want to keep that. I don't see any harm in it. But first of all,
Correct.
that going with the left hand right hand combination. If you have resources, use them. Not having resources and then saying we don't have resources has been a thing in the past. But if you have resources at your disposal, use them at your wish. And I think that has been the case. But I think given how these players have done in the domestic circuit, because for most of these players, I think that's the only yardstick we have right now. In like, for example, six of the players were in WBPL. We can talk about that, but I think the domestic circuit is the only yardstick we have because there were not many internationals happened after like, there were not many international series that happened after the T20 World Cup, and I think going in with this combination makes perfect sense to me because that has been the case, and I think with Yastika at the other end, I think it just will calm little that thing will calm Shafali Verma a little bit, and then later maybe she can take her chances. So I think this left hand and right hand works for me, and yeah, that's it.
Correct. And obviously, we talk about the Jemmy's absence in the squad. Jemima has had a good outing in the WBBL as well, but then wasn't included in the squad. But and then when we talk about this number three position, so Yastika Bhatia was tried at number three in Australia. She brought up some really amazing performances out there. Now we have the Commonwealth Games. T20 format is going to be played there, and then the T20 World Cup next year. So in the ODIs, and then after that, if with her good performances out there, if Yastika Bhatia cements that place, so how do you think Jemmy coming in back and that number three spot ka thing for India, Ankit?
Yeah, first of all, I think it has been, like the question has been around there for like a lot with the Jamie's absence, and it has buzzing this, like the social media was said buzzing with that as well. Her absence, I mean, I would say, like the question we have been raising, that her recent performance in WBBL and the 100, it was so wonderful, and she was still not considered and was considered a shocker. It is important for us to have that clarity that what is the selection criteria right now. Not just, I mean, we know that her national outings haven't been as good in the recent past. She hasn't been consistent with that. But we still don't have that communication where we don't know what she should prioritize and what she should actually improve on. And
Correct.
that is something that also impacts a player a lot. Recently, we got to know that we had a sports psychologist that was drafted into the team recently, after Harman has been talking about it since 2019, and finally we got it. But having them on the board and still not utilizing, just having the communication with the player, doesn't make sense, I believe. Yeah, coming back to the
Correct.
point, actually, I think I just did divert a bit. I feel that Jenny is someone who can still make a comeback with after the World Cup. Like, she's still on in the scheme of the things. I think she's one of the most gifted players that we have ever had, and she brings to the table a lot more than just her batting. Her fielding, she's a
Right.
gun fielder, we know, and that energy that she brings onto the field, it is really important, and she will stay in the mix going ahead. So it is a matter of time she comes back into the team. With Yastika, yeah, she's in direct competition for a spot with Yastika. We know that the third position that we are talking about, it is kind of a tussle between Yastika and Jemmy. And with Yastika doing so well, I don't know how it is going to play out. But we know that even before what was happening, just a year before that and before, Jamie was also playing that musical chairs, and she was being used as a floater here and there. She didn't had a particularly fixed spot even before Yastika came. So that is something that has to be decided by the management, where they have to give a fixed spot to these players so that they can get a good understanding. We know that
Correct.
Jamie has played all, like most of the time she plays at the third position. But even if you're going to give her a different spot, it should be more consistent for her to at least get into the groove, and she hasn't got that. She was used as a floater here and there. She has also opened. She has also been at fifth position, sixth position. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. Going ahead, I believe we have some really important events coming up, important tournaments coming up with the World Cup, with the Commonwealth Games, and some important series as well. So I believe that she's still in the mix of the things after the World Cup, and I'm just looking forward to that.
Correct, right. Noted. And then, of course, continuing the Yastika Bhatia thing. So the management, as I said, they pinned their trust in Yastika Bhatia at number three. So looking at her performances, looking at her growth, you go to Australia, you're making your debut down under a very strong team out there and bringing your good performances. So that kind of approach she showed in the Australia series. So what will be her contributions to the lineup, and what should be her approach to the game in the ODI series followed by the World Cup? Kalyani.
Sorry, I didn't catch you. There's some network issue. Sorry.
We were continuing about the Yastika Bhatia thing. So as I said, that the management trusted her at number three. So making her debut out there in Australia against a strong team, you're going overseas, you're playing with confidence, chipping in those important runs for the team. So she has shown a great character out there, and that's why that has led to her inclusion in the squad for the World Cup as well. So what could be her approach to the game heading into the World Cup and then five-match ODI series as well?
She was also, to add a thing, she was also good against in the domestic circuit as well. And I think the one thing that I would add to this whole thing is that the way she batted against Australia, which was first of all, it takes a kind of a different approach to bat against Australia in Australian the pitches are not helping the batter a lot, and they managed to have a good kind of outing there. And I think going into the World Cup, I think she should just stick to what she's good at, and that's playing through
And that's
the
a
innings and
pound by
being the
Yastika
anchor.
Bhatia over there, a
Yeah,
six off Tahu.
yeah, there she is. She's showing what she can do, and
Correct.
that's the thing. That's what I said when I said that she'll have to face the likes of Tahuhu and others in the ODI series, and this will be a good practice for her also. Even if she, no matter what her batting position is, even if, like, let's say for example the early wicket falls, I think this situation, this condition will help her, because this is the first time in the country. That same is the case with many of the players in this team, and I think this will help uh, her getting into the World Cup, and that's a courageous shot, if I must say, against the likes of Leah Tahu, who has this kind of experience under her belt. So just, I think this is a good move to have her in the opening. She'll get that opportunity, and I think this is for the best.
Definitely. And as you said, that trying her at different numbers is what also, give her that confidence to perform whenever she is needed for the Indian team in the ODI World Cup as well. You never know, in this difficult times, there could be a slot anywhere, and then trying her out, that could be the thing. Also, Akash has joined us for this live session. Welcome, Akash. So coming to you first up, New Zealand have posted the target of 156, started good with Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, and then Deepti Sharma giving us the first breakthrough. Your thoughts on how the New Zealand innings went? Oh, okay. So I said that, we were talking about Yastika Bhatia's contributions and everything. They've come to bat. India have a target of 156 right now. So New Zealand, they started well with Susie Bates and Sophie Devine. Sophie Devine just showing her effortless play there in the middle and then giving a good start to New Zealand. 156 is what they've posted for India. So your thoughts on how the New Zealand innings went? Akash, if you can check with your sound, there's some problem, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Sorry, extremely sorry. I think I lost you there a bit.
Yeah, you can continue.
So I was saying that New Zealand batted quite smartly, I thought, because in the first few overs they took their time to settle in, and then in the fifth over there was some acceleration in that over against Simran Bahadur. So that is exactly how I think India is going about their business at this point. Yastika started a bit slowly. Now she's taking on the attack. She's hit a couple of boundaries. I think New Zealand should be happy with the score that they have got. 156 looks like a good score on this wicket. But India has a competent batting unit. So let's see how it goes from here now.
Correct. So Neha Shetty has also joined us for this live session. Welcome, Neha. So I'll come to you with the batting unit of India we were talking about. We're having a discussion about that. Mandhana is not playing this game, and we have Shafali Verma and Yastika Bhatia opening the innings for India. So your thoughts on that? Because Yastika Bhatia, like we were expecting that, S. Meghna will be up there opening the innings for India. She does that for Railways as well, but then she's been demoted down the order, and then we have Yastika out here. Your first thoughts on that?
So first up, good morning. Thank you so much for including me in this, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. To kickstart the discussion, obviously New Zealand has put up a really good score. Like 155 for 5 is a very good score on this wicket, and India's death bowling was a concern, and it was kind of exposed. But then the wickets in the latter half did kind of help the situation. With respect to opening, we don't have Smriti Mandhana playing today, and we don't know the exact reason. But we still have Yastika, who is a very reliable batter. I mean, we've seen her play superb in Australia. She's chipped in with those hand knocks. I did expect S. Meghna to open, actually, because she had a very good challenger series as well. But maybe promoting Yastika up the order was just trying to test her flexibility in case, Shefali is out of form. So we can have, probably two lefties opening with Smriti Mandhana and Yastika Bhatia for the World Cup. Maybe they were looking at the bigger scheme of things. And
Correct.
Esmina probably was slotted in the middle order, so it gives more stability to the middle order. So maybe that was the mindset going in.
Correct. That was one thing, and also we've been always talking about the little inconsistency of the middle order. So now that Yastika has been promoted up the order. Harmanpreet Kaur will have a bigger responsibility on her shoulders. She's had a good outing in the super. She has had a good outing in the WBBL. Harmanpreet Kaur with both the bat and the ball. So definitely, her contributions will be important for the side. So what do you make of the role of Harmanpreet Kaur in the lineup? Like for everything, like now we can talk about this T20I game as well, followed by the ODI series and the World Cup.
I think Harmanpreet Kaur has been a vital cog in the Indian setup for a long time now. I mean, her 2017 World Cup knock, that 171 not out, was legendary. I mean, after that, I know she's had a lead patch, and but that doesn't take anything away from her as a player. Considering the WBBL and even the 100, right? In WBBL, she was the player of the tournament, contributed with the bat and the ball, and the confidence with which she went in was just immense, and she is definitely like a player you can't write off at any point of time, and she is definitely one of our assets in the middle order.
Yeah, true. And then talking about Harmanpreet Kaur, also we definitely want her to carry her good form from the WBBL to the ODI series and the World Cup, and she's going to be definitely our one player to watch out for. A lot of responsibilities would be on her shoulders for Team India. But then if we talk about Liha Tahu, so she's there here with the bowl, but she's done some fireworks with the bat, promoted up the order, played that quick innings for New Zealand. Probably that is where they could cross the 150 ka mark, because initially they started well, and the middle overs they were quite restricted by the Indian openers. But then Liya Tahu, who comes in, plays that quick fire knock, and New Zealand are here at 155. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, that was a very smart promotion for her up the order, because I was expecting the other batters to come, but getting her up there was probably a smart move. She'll give you the quick fire results. And that knock was crucial as well, because at that stage, New Zealand looked like, 140 ish maybe, but that innings of her propelled them to a good score of 155. And I think going into the World Cup too, having a good, firing batter at the latter end is also good, and now that they've experimented her a little up the order is a welcome sign, I feel. Yeah.
Correct. And Shafali Verma getting into the charge hits the four of Tahuhu right now. So yes, right. Lia Tahuhu came in, promoted up the order, done the job for New Zealand, and that's what pretty much we expected of her. And she's done the job right. Like she did depart, couldn't really do anything more, but then she did her job, whatever thing she was sent for. So we took the predictions from our panelists before on who do you think will get the first breakthrough for India. And Yash had then predicted that Deepti Sharma would get that for India, and he got that right. So let me get to you, Akash, on that. Who's getting the first breakthrough for New Zealand? Let's see if you could predict that right.
I think it could be Amelia Kerr, because once the power play is over, they might give her a shot. And the thing is, on these pitches, when the ball is coming on slowly to the batter, it's more difficult to hit. The required rate is also climbing up now. It's 8.36. So once the required rate goes about, say, around 8, 9, and that point in time, you would need a batter to go after the bowling. And potentially that could open up an opportunity for New Zealand to get a wicket. But so far, so good for India, I would say, because I mean, they've got Yastika hasn't opened at the international level yet. So to see her play like this, it's been a good thing for India, especially like Shafali. Generally, you expect Shafali to take the aggressor role of the aggressor, but today it has been so far. Yastika has taken a lot of strike also, and she scored a lot of runs so far. So far, so good for India. But I think, yeah, as I said, Amelia Kerr has been brought onto the attack. So like this could be a good chance because they will target her. Also, there you have to notice that the fact the field is a little open up now. There are more fielders outside the inner ring, so that could potentially open up a chance for New Zealand.
And the power play is done. So if we compare the scores of New Zealand and India in the power play, New Zealand were 49 for no loss, and India is 39 for no loss, 10 runs behind, but pretty much doing the same thing as what Sophie Devine and Susie Bates done for New Zealand, slowly starting and then gradually building up their innings. Getting to you, Neha, on that first wicket prediction.
I also think, Amelia Kerr would be one of the person who would get the first breakthrough. If not her, probably Jess Kerr, because they've had superb Super Smash seasons. And they've actually proven, like Amelia Kerr was particularly coming off of the, mental health break and everything. So she is definitely an asset. And I think it's going to be her, yeah.
Correct. And along with Sophie Devine and Amy Satterthwaite, she actually is also one of the most prime players of the New Zealand setup, has a good experience by her side. And as you said, she has had a very good tournament with both the bat and the ball in the Super Smash. Coming after the mental break, did not play match against England. So 17 wickets is what she picked up. And here, Amelia Kerr getting the first breakthrough. Good job, you guys. So Amelia Kerr getting the first breakthrough for New Zealand, and then Yastika Bhatia departs. So we'll have to see how India build on their innings from here. But talking about Amelia Kerr, I was just giving you the stats about her. She actually picked up 17 wickets from 11 matches, and she was also the second highest run getter in the Super Smash, chipping in those 346 runs. Adds so much value to the team. Akash.
Yeah, obviously, when you have a quality all-rounder playing, especially in a format like a T20, where you need more and more players like Amelia, like who can give you like 4 overs on a constant basis, and also play a role in the top seven. It's a gift for the team. And Amelia, again, as I said before, that she's an excellent bowler. She has been in good form. You mentioned about her Super Smash stats. She was like smashing in all of the innings, all of the matches that she played, because she got a couple of 50s here and there, and she was always there. If you go and look at all the scorecards of Wellington Place matches, you will see her more often than not, see her at doing something. Either she's doing contributing with the ball or contributing with the bats. To have somebody like that of that ability, it's just tremendous. It's just great for New Zealand, and the fact that she's back in the team, it would be a great boost for them. She wasn't there in the last few series, so it's a massive boost for New Zealand going into the World Cup. They would obviously need her a lot, I think, to win. If they want to win it, they need her to do a lot of things with the bat and with the ball as well.
Definitely, and she would also want to continue that momentum that she's received from the Super Smash. It's always the game. It's always the game plan. It's always the momentum you say in cricket. You get that positive momentum. You get that winning momentum. It's there in your head, and it's somewhere down the line. It helps you to bring those impactful performances, and that is what would be important. Like ODI series, as we talk about, this is going to be the platform where both of the teams can try a lot of combinations. Harmanpreet Kaur has gone, Shafali Verma has gone, another opener getting out early, 13 runs of 13 balls. Amelia Kerr back in the attack. Neha Shetty, what do you have to say about it?
I think she's just proving why she's the most important asset, for New Zealand, getting two crucial wickets of Yastika and Shefali Verma here. It just goes to show, like, coming in after the power play was probably a very good tactic from New Zealand's end. And India is obviously in a tough situation right now. We do have Harmanpreet Kaur, who's come in ahead, who's come in at 3. Usually she slots in at 4 or 5, but not good signs right now for India.
Right. So when you talk about the power play score, we said that, they were just 10 runs behind New Zealand. 39 was the score. So the Indian openers, Yastika Bhatia and Shafali Verma, both have departed now. And this is what we've been talking since long now. The over dependence on the openers, the middle order, like obviously you expect Smriti Mandhana and Shafali Verma to give those flying starts to the team, and then they have been doing that. But then sometimes what happens is, when you know that your middle order is struggling a tad bit, it also gives that pressure to the top order there. So in what way has the middle order need to perform, Akash, in order to avoid that over dependence on the openers? Because sometimes
See,
you definitely, both of them are star batters, but then they moderate the flow of runs, especially if it's T20Is.
See, the middle order is a very vital. You cannot, like, if India wants to, and we have been talking about the World Cup a lot. So if India wants to do well at that World Cup, they ideally need to have a middle order that fires on a regular basis. In T20s,
Correct.
we have seen this for a long time now. If you really go back to the last two time India traveled to New Zealand, even during that series, there were issues with the middle order, and it's been a problem for ages. But it's good to see Harman coming at number 3,
Correct.
promoting herself and coming at number 3, taking the responsibility as a skipper. She has been in good form lately. She had a terrific WBBL season. We have spoken about that enough. To see her walk in at number 3 is a good sign. Hopefully she does well and she gets this. The whole series is sort of panned in a way that it's a dress rehearsal for the World Cup, to say. And it would be interesting to see how the middle order performs here, because it's been such a talking point about the Indian team. As you said, like, the openers have given you start, and as you rightly mentioned, it puts a lot of pressure on the openers, because sometimes the responsibility that Smriti Mandhana or Shefali Verma is given is to bat through this innings. Now, in a good side, you cannot have your openers bat thinking that they want to bat through the innings. They have to take the attack sometime, take the odd risk here and there. And at that point in time, if you're always thinking that maybe our middle order is not strong, it's a very tough situation to be in. We have seen that enough with teams that do not have a good, solid middle order. They tend to struggle in a lot of matches. So that's something India has to work on. They have to find a sort of like a combination that suits them, and to have those batters play in different situations so that they are prepared when the stage is set, when the big match is there. We want them to be there on the spot and perform well. So that would be interesting to see, because it's a long year ahead. Apart from, if you just leave aside the World Cup, in the next 12 months we have a Commonwealth Games. That's a big event for all the teams. Then there's a T20 World Cup next year in South Africa. So India has to sort their strategy in terms of having a split middle order in the T20 format at least.
Correct. And now we can see Sophie Devine in the attack. So Harmanpreet Kaur on strike. So skipper to skipper, both of them very important players for their respective teams. So touching a bit upon Sophie Devine's contribution, she's also had a splendid form in the Super Smash tournament, played that innings of 92 runs in the final to lead the team to victory, lead Wellington to victory in the Super Smash. And we know that there have been a lot of leadership changes for the New Zealand sides in the past. And then now we have Sophie Devine leading the pack in the ODI World Cup, which has a lot of experience as well as some young names out there in the squad. In the presser yesterday, she talked that they will be aiming to play their attacking game and that getting into the rhythm of the 50-over World Cup is their focus. So that is how it should be for New Zealand going ahead, making most of the home conditions. Neha?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, playing at home is obviously an added advantage. Home advantage you can never discount. And I think New Zealand is, blessed with abundance of, good captains who have always, mentored the young players coming in. And playing at home is obviously the added bonus here. And they have a very good team. The Super Smash has been good for them. And considering the number of matches they are getting in going into the World Cup, I think New Zealand can really, they have good chances of probably clinching the trophy or at least making it to the finals.
Correct. And just a thought, we talking about Harmanpreet Kaur. She's currently there on the pitch playing that innings for India. And then if just a possibility we're talking about. So if she can bowl those slot of 10 overs in the ODIs and come in as a fifth bowler, that might also allow India to play an extra batter. Your thoughts on that, Akash?
Yeah, that is something that can be potentially done. Though I don't really see India going with that strategy heading into the World Cup. But here I will like to take an example of the 2011 World Cup, the men's World Cup actually, where Yuvraj Singh midway through the tournament turned out to be that fifth bowler for India, and the dynamics of the whole 11 changed completely. So that's something that Harman can do potentially, but I really don't think they'll go with that strategy. They'll still trust her as the sixth bowler, and looking at her form during the WBBL, it's quite if she can play that role, giving Mithali an assurance that she can give maybe 6 overs or 7 overs every day, pick up a wicket here and there. That's a great advantage to have, because in today's game you cannot go into a 50-over game with just 5 bowlers. Like, that won't work at all. So to have somebody like Harman, and Harman is again experienced. Like, you can be a good you have to take wickets at the international level, but you have to also be a smart thinker of the game, which I think Harman is, and the kind of experience she brings in also. So to get her, it's important when you play these big tournaments. You need your key players, our players, to play their roles, and to be a part of the game more so. So to bring Harman, and because she's quite an important player, to bring her into the game with the bowling as well would be an interesting aspect for India heading into the World Cup.
Correct, and experience always pays. I just said during the first innings that you can't buy that in a supermarket, and in an event
True.
like that of ODI World Cup or any format World Cup for that matter, it is important that you have been in that position before. It is important that you have that experience, and that's when we talk about the omission of Shikha Pandey from the pace bowling unit. Now, if we talk about the experience, apart from Julian Goswami, you have Renuka Singh Thakur, you have Meghna Singh there. No doubt both of them are potential players, have had a good outing in the senior one day trophy as well. But then when it comes to experience, the pace bowling unit lacks in there. A lot of hopes would be pinned there on Julian Goswami, Neha.
Absolutely. I mean, when Shikha Pandey was dropped from the squad, I was shocked because she is such a good bowler. Lack of opportunities and game time didn't go in her favor, obviously. And these are conditions that would favor her, right? We saw in the series versus England. I mean, England and New Zealand are swinging conditions. Now in England, she played so well. The ball of the century, it was a brilliant in swinger, right? So I did expect her to make it to the squad here, but it was really didn't make it. Now, what happens is that they've slotted in newer bowlers. I mean, they have shown their potential in the Australia tour, but again, inexperience is like the common thing. So obviously, the pressure will be on Jhulan Goswami to spearhead the attack as much as she feels like you know just navigating through that and just splitting the rest of the other bowlers too. She will be key to our wicket taking things and spearheading the attack. But Shikha Pandey will definitely be missed.
Correct. And now, if we talk about the ongoing match, like Meghna is on 7, Harmanpreet on 6, both of them trying to build on the innings. But then from here, one of those will have to take that charge and accelerate the innings, take the chances, because down the order, obviously, you have Richa Ghosh there. And but for India, they need now 101 runs off 63 balls, and it is important. So, who do you think should take the charge? Maybe S. Meghna, Akash Ghosh?
I see, Smegna has not played an international game in some time now. So, like,
Correct.
to expect her to come into this game and take the role of the aggressor would not be right. Harman is there, but again, then you want Harman to stick around till the last over
Correct.
to take the
Finish
game deep into towards when the pressure could be put on the bowlers. But then, having said that, the run required rate is climbing up. It's close to 10 now. So I think they should. I mean, ideally, one of them has to take the charge. Yes, Ismegna would be a right, not a bad call, because again, as I said, you want Harman to take the game
stay
deep.
there
In
and do
that
the job.
situation, you want ideally the other batter, whoever is batting with Harman, has to take the charge that they will have to score the boundaries. But I think New Zealand have been quite smart in the way they have controlled the game. For
Correct.
like 39 for nil after the power play. India could have built on it, but those 2 wickets, and it just goes to show that there is that required rate pressure all the time. Like the shot that if you see the shot that Shefali played, I did not expect her to play that shot at that point in time, because it could have just ticked around for a while and settled in, let Harman settle in to just build a partnership. But as we see, see S. Meghna going for a boundary. So that's a good signs for India heading into the last 10. They still have 95 runs to win. It's not going to be easy. But if S. Meghna can do what we saw her do in the domestic tournaments that happened recently in India,
So
India could have a chance.
Meghna probably is who are making our wishes come true. She's taking the charge with the bat. just got a four of divine, and that's what we want her to do. Like as you said rightly, Akash, that we want Harmanpreet Kaur to stay on the, like obviously she can also take the charge. She is an attacking batter for that matter, but then you need someone to sort of anchor the innings, take it deep enough if the situation demands so, and do the job for the team. And we expect that from Harmanpreet. So it would be, as you said, that could be a good call if Meghna takes that charge. But then coming on to the omissions yet again, we talked about Shikha Pandey, how important player she has been for India. Lack of chances, Neha, as you rightly said. But then after the New Zealand squad was announced, if we talk about that, the omission of Lee Kasperick was something that surprised many. An experienced campaigner coming in with important breakthroughs for the team more often than not, and then not included in the squad. So she has had a good outing in the Super Smash tournament as well, finished as the highest wicket taker. What do you make of that decision?
I think again it was a decision that did come as a surprise. I mean, you have such a star player who's played so long, who has experience and has had a good domestic season as well. So it obviously did come in as a surprise. And I wish, the team management could have given more clarity on why she was excluded. I mean, I did make way for a new player, but that
Correct.
should have been probably a little more clear. Yeah.
Correct. And also touching upon the same thing, Akash, in the absence of Lee Kasperick, now we have Francis McKay, we have Amelia Kerr in the spin attack. Fran Jonas, the 17-year-old left-arm spinner, is included in the squad as well. So in the absence of Lee Kasperick, do you still think that the spin attack of New Zealand is formidable enough and could pose those difficult questions to the opposition batters?
Yeah, see, they have come out with a good squad. There's no even if you leave out Lee Casper, you have to see the rest of the squad is a good squad. And
Correct.
I don't know how much spin will play a factor, because if you end up playing one spinner or two spinner in the side, uh, you can really leave out the Casper. But in that situation, like pitches in New Zealand could turn, especially late in the tournament. When you have like pitches a little bit wear down, to say, I think in that situation, spin could play a huge factor, especially in the middle overs when you need, to control the runs flow of any team who is playing. So in that situation, I think she will be missed. She has, in fact, I was looking up the stats the other day, and I noticed that she has been the highest wicket taker for New Zealand in ODI since 2000 and since the last World Cup. So to not have her would be a miss sort of for New Zealand, but they still have a good attack that can help them get through the World Cup final at least, I think.
Correct. And we always say that whatever squad is out, then one person is omitted, and then you have another person taking the charge. It's an opportunity for the other bowler to make most of that and then shine and do the job done for the country. So Fran Jonas is who we're talking about, the 17-year-old left-arm spinner, plays for Auckland in the domestic circuit. So she was also decent in the Super Smash tournament. But then when you talk about, like, it has been a talking point, Fran Jonas's inclusion in the New Zealand squad. So when she's been included now, if and all, like, we don't know about the World Cup, but in the 5-match ODI series, we might see her playing because, they would always want to make those changes, try different combinations, so to make sure that the best 11 walks to the field. So if in case Fran Jonas gets that chance in the ODIs, will there be a bit of pressure on her to perform considering so many talks that are around her, Neha?
I think there will be a lot of pressure coming in. She's a youngster. She's just 17. Although she's had a good season, coming in will, have that pressure and everything. But considering there's Emilia Kerr in the team and there's Jess Kerr and, the whole set of Amy Satterthwaite or Sophie Devine, Susie Bates, all of these guys will mentor her and, just ensure that she's good. And I think it also shows a step in the right direction from the New Zealand management as well, where they want to invest in youth and get them into the setup early, so they're experienced, they can deliver the goods early on, they know the in and out of how it is to play in international cricket. So yeah, probably
Correct.
she will come in with pressure, but I'm sure she can deliver the goods.
Correct.
Just to
And
add to
then,
what she said, I just add one point. Even despite the fact that she's inexperienced is a big, huge reason why. If I would have been a selector, I wouldn't have picked her, because you want, when you're going in a big tournament such as
just
the World Cup, you want an
interrupting you,
experienced player.
Akash, here, just for a second, Jaskar gets the wicket for India. Harmanpreet Kaur is gone, so we wanted her to, sort of like that was a brilliant ball. Like what could one do of that ball? Akash, your thoughts on this wicket? Skipper to
Yeah,
skipper.
like just like to that wicket, that ball was really good. That came back in, like, to ball that in the 11th over is just incredible, to be honest. But a big wicket for New Zealand. I mean, from here, the going will get tough for India, because whoever comes in next will spend a little bit of time to get settled in. And before they notice, you would see the recorded has jumped up to 11, 12. And that's the territory that no team likes to take the chase, because. And just to look into the fact that how many batters are coming in next, you have Deepti Sharma, you have Sneha. So, see, they're good batters, nothing to take away from them. But to bat at the rate of 11 is quite difficult, especially against this attack. And that's where you have to look at the innings that Lia Taho played. I mean, that could be the very difference between these two sides, because to come in late in that order, as Neha previously mentioned, to come in late and score those runs at a strike rate of 200 is incredible. And I don't know, I'm not sure who's going to do that role for India in this game now.
Correct, true. And then if we talk about Jess Kerr, like the spin, Amelia Kerr gave us the first two wickets, and then Jess Kerr coming in with another wicket for New Zealand. So they are, this was one issue that has been plaguing New Zealand. They were getting the momentum and they weren't able to capitalize on that momentum. That is what we've seen during the England series. The matches were close enough. New Zealand got chances, but they weren't able to capitalize on that. So probably they are seeming to do that thing right now. We don't know how that turns out to be as a result, but that was the issue that was a concern for New Zealand, Neha.
I think it was a concern. I mean, that series was a closely contested one. Even though, the timings were a little off, I was still following the series. And it was kind of disheartening to see New Zealand just, miss out with those key moments, just like 10 minutes
Correct.
of bad game time, and they were just missing out on opportunities. But they are a class unit. I mean, on paper, they have all their departments fixed. It's just those, key points that if they could just work, they would definitely emerge on top. And I think they're kind of getting the formula right in this match. So this is a T20 game. I know it's starkly different from an ODI game, but good
Correct.
sign for them.
Correct. And we have Haley Jensen coming into bowl, filling in that seam bowling all-rounders role in the New Zealand squad, and then Richa Ghosh on strike. So we were talking about the lineup, and then we discussed that you have Tanya Bhatia, you have Richa Ghosh, but then considering the recent form, Richa Ghosh has got that green signal, looked good with the bat. Your thoughts on that, Akash? The
Yeah,
growth of
like
Richa Ghosh.
she was picked in the ODIs against Australia, and that kind of gave us a hint that that's where India is heading towards. But one thing I will say, I expected Tanya Bhatia to be picked in the travelling reserves, and maybe India picking one extra batter in that first 15, but that hasn't happened. So maybe they'll go with Richa Ghosh as a batter, but we might see both of them playing at one point, maybe in the World Cup, and that will also, like, that would depend on how India's bowling lineup shapes up. Like, if you say just previously we said that Harman could potentially be an number 5 bowler for 5th bowler for India. If that happens, then that gives you an opportunity to have an extra batter, and India haven't picked any extra batter in that first 15. So in that situation, they could play Richa and Tanya both together. But mostly I think Richa is the primary wicket keeper of choice at this point for India. And going into the World Cup, that could be the combination. And she fits in well in that middle order, I feel.
Correct.
So we can just hope her to perform well.
And her contributions in the middle order will be very important. She just hit that 4 of Haley Jensen, and we would want Richa Ghosh to do the job for the team, because that's what we've been always talking about since then. And then this whole India versus New Zealand series, since the scores have been announced, the schedule have been announced, we're talking about how it is going to be a preparation for the much awaited ODI World Cup. So a lot of things have changed from the 2017 World Cup to this 2022 World Cup now. It is going to be played in New Zealand, and obviously the home team always has a bit of an advantage there. But then equal pressure also comes in when you play at the home conditions, right, Nia?
Absolutely. I mean, when you're playing at home, there's always the pressure of, performing well and you have to win. And, this whole fact that you're hosting it, so, you have to be probably the best team on display because you're setting an example. But I think, New Zealand has had a lot of heartbreaks in actual events, so they would be looking to, turn that around this time. And they have a really good chance, a good squad. Plus, some other teams are missing out on some key players too. So I think this is probably like a good chance for New Zealand, although the home pressure does come in a little bit.
Just
Yes.
to
And even
highlight one point, in the past, whenever New Zealand has hosted a World Cup, whether it be a men's World Cup or a women's World Cup, they have done well. In the men's World Cup, they did well in '92, and in 2015, they qualified to the final. In the women's World Cup, they won the one when it happened in
2000.
2000. So that would be there. Obviously, the fact that at home, a home advantage of playing in home condition comes into play. If you really look at how ODI cricket has been in the last 5-6 years, not a lot of teams have played in New Zealand, so the conditions will be a little foreign for them. So in that situation, I think New Zealand has an advantage. And one more thing, Sophie Devine spoke about in one of her interviews recently that all the players that New Zealand have played in all the stadiums that are hosting the matches. That is an advantage, I believe, get to know the feel and to be at home. There are a lot of factors in it's more to do with skill and mental side of it as well. So there will be an advantage, there will be pressure, it will be a lot of things, and they have to there will be a lot of mixture of emotions, they have to handle it. And I think that will be the challenge, to handle that pressure and the emotions. Plus we are in a situation, like we are in a very difficult time. The players have to be in quarantine and they have to do. New Zealand don't really, but still to stay in a bubble and all, there are several challenges that New Zealand will have. But I think they've got a good side that could potentially challenge the top sides in the World Cup.
Yes, just giving a quick update about the match. So Meghna Singh just hit a four of Amelia Kerr. Amelia Kerr is there in the attack right now. 77 more runs for India off 43 balls. We'll have to see how these both build on the innings and take it further for India. That would be a testing time again. We were talking about the whole middle order thing. So obviously, Richa Ghosh would be the one who we'll see much of her in the middle orders in the ODI World Cup and the New Zealand in the ODI series as well. But when we talk about the momentum, like as everybody in this discussion since morning, we've been just emphasizing there's another four from Richa, yeah. So she's accelerating the innings for India, and that's going to be a really good factor for India chasing this target. But then what we were talking about since morning in the discussions was that all of this 2020 game is just a preparation. It's just a momentum thing. You'll get a game time, and then ODI series also the same thing. But then when we talk about the momentum, psychologically it affects you. You win a T20I, you head into the ODI series with that positive momentum. So India is going to kickstart their World Cup campaign on March 6th against Pakistan, a much awaited contest. And Bisma Maroof, in a conversation with Women's CricZone, said that they'll take it as just another match. How does this affect the players, the India versus Pakistan rivalry, and all the hype out there, Neha?
I strongly believe that an India Pakistan match has the tag that it's a high pressure, high voltage encounter. So obviously for us as fans itself, it is so emotionally so emotionally invested in the game. And for the players to kind of separate that emotional aspect and just focus on the game is obviously very challenging. But most of them do do it successfully. They just look at it as a game of cricket, because the more pressure and the emotional aspect you bring into it just gets all the more complicated. But that's obviously a game that we all are looking forward, and kickstarting the World Cup with that match is going to be a challenge for India. But I'm pretty sure they can bring a good performance to the table, and that would probably be give a good momentum to the rest of the World Cup as well.
Correct. So as Meghna is we like about the ongoing match, as Meghna, we expected her to come and open the innings, it's coming down the order, but doing a decent job with the ball, with the bat. So my bad, and then 24 runs off 21 balls, and then doing a pretty decent job with the bat going. Okay, there's no, this boundary would be saved. So your thoughts on how Meghna Singh has so far developed her innings, Akash?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how T20 batting works, I think batting at number four is probably the most difficult job to do in a T20 game, because when you're opening the innings, you can set the tone of the innings, get the opportunity to start off well when there are fielding restrictions and everything. But when you come in the middle or order, especially once the power play is done, when you bat, it's more difficult to get runs. There could be spinners. Attacking spinners is a crucial part of that, and there's a lot of aspect of batting at number four in T20 which is difficult. So to do that job, to imagine that she hasn't played international cricket in such a long time, and to give her that role once she's back, and she hits another boundary. So I mean, she's been impressive so far, because as I said before, you want one of your players to take on the charge and play the role of the aggressor. And now it seems that Meghna has taken the responsibility on her to her shoulders, that she will lead the charge and try to accelerate the runs. So hopefully she can continue her innings. And it's good signs for India. Heading, as I previously said once, that there is an issue with the middle order. Probably if this knock could give her an opportunity, it could just give something to think about to Ramesh Power and the captain heading into that crucial year, that she could potentially be a middle order player in the Commonwealth Games and in the T20 World Cup next year.
So as you talked about the Commonwealth Games, so cricket in its most exciting formats, T20 format will make its women's cricket in one of its most exciting formats will make its debut in the Commonwealth Games. Cricket will be played just for the second time in the Commonwealth Games, and this could be a great boost for women's cricket. We talk about it, how the game has developed over the years, and seeing this women's cricket on such a big platform followed throughout the world is going to be a great boost for women's cricket as a whole, Neha.
Undoubtedly, I mean, women's cricket for the longest time hasn't got its credit, and getting exposure on such a big stage is obviously a massive boost. And the world will get to see, right? Cricket is indeed a global sport, but then when it's played like in the Commonwealth Games, it's obviously like very good exposure. So many of the girls getting the credit they rightly deserve, and this is across all teams. So it is definitely a welcome sign for women's cricket.
Correct. And as you rightly said, that how things change, how the perspective of people have changed. So when we talk about it, we talk about the 2019 World Cup for sure. You see, you talk about Harman's innings, like it's just etched into our memories. And then talking the development of Team India from the 2000 ODI World Cup, 2017 ODI World Cup to this World Cup now. So we've been talking about that it was Sachin's last ODI World Cup in 2011, and this could be Mithali Raj, and this is Mithali Raj and Julian Goswami's last. And if India wins this, it will be a moment to savor for the entire nation. So they have walked a long path. They've made their crucial contributions for Team India, both Mithali and Julian. Your thoughts on that, Akash?
Yeah, I mean, they have been the stalwarts for Indian women's cricket for a long, long time now. I mean, Mithali made her debut in 1999, and Chulan has been around for 20 years now. So, I mean, to have an international career of that size is quite incredible. And as you said, rightly mentioned, both of them will be playing their last World Cup. So to just give them that trophy, if they get that opportunity to win the trophy and to go up, bid them farewell on a high note, would be something that the whole team would want to do. And it would just be fitting, these two players. They have. It's not like they haven't been close to the opportunity of winning a World Cup. They have, in fact, played two finals. In 2005, they played 2017 again, the heartbreak that you spoke about. But it just presents an opportunity for the whole team to bid these stalwarts a good farewell, give them a chance to have the trophy on their side and end their careers on a very high note.
Correct. So Meghna Singh is doing a good job with the bat. Yet another boundary of Liatahuhu. So That's really amazing building that innings for India. We're talking about the New Zealand, touching upon bit upon the New Zealand setup now. We've always known that the all-rounders is one of their strengths. The trio of Sophie Devine, Amy Satterthwaite, and Susie Bates have a lot of experience under their sleeves, and Amelia Kerr, for that matter, is one of the key players for the team. So, what do you make of that trio? There, this all-rounders, and how it is going to be a great positive for New Zealand in the World Cup, Neha.
Right. So, I mean, having all rounders is a boost to any setup because they can contribute with the bat and the ball. And in case your regular batters and bowlers are having a bad day, you can always have your all rounders chipping in. And these guys are regulars in your team.
Correct.
New Zealand is blessed, when they have this trio that is regularly contributing. They're very consistent, and the fact that they have been in the setup for so long, they can actually mentor the younger players coming in, and they are a bonus for any team. Even in the franchisee league cricket they play, they are a boost to the team because of the abilities they bring to the table. So yeah, I mean it's definitely nice to see them around for the longest time, and hopefully injuries don't keep them away for long, and it's a good sign.
Correct. And as we're talking about the batters that are yet to come from the Indian side, the timing just got right. S. Meghna departs for 37. Leah Tahu back in the attack gets that breakthrough for India. Where do you see this innings going? You have Sneh Rana, you have Dipti Sharma, Pooja Vastrkar, Akash.
I mean, it couldn't have come at a wrong time. Like this was a sign that heading into the last 5 overs, you wanted somebody a set batter in, such as
Correct.
Meghna was batting so well. So you would have liked to have her, and we see Pooja Vastakar coming in, which I think is a welcome change.
Correct.
Pooja had a really good knock against Australia when they travelled
Yes.
in September.
In the
So
second.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
the reason why they have sent her out so that we could play that quick fire role. And if she manages to do that, that will open up an option for India. Because Sneh Rana is somebody who's a very smart player. She can control the innings, take the odd boundary here and there. But when you have a required of 11 and you need 11 runs, it's potentially you need more than one boundary in every over. So that becomes a little difficult. I haven't seen her in a situation like that. So, but yeah, Pooja Vastakar coming in is a welcome change. Hopefully, she gets a quick fire cameo somewhere now so that India can push on to the target and get closer, take the game more deep and deep. Because when you go to the 17th, 18th over and still the match is evenly poised, bowlers are always feeling the pressure to deliver. So at that point in time, that could play well into the Indian hands.
Correct. And the way you just mentioned about Pooja Vastrikar, she had really played a good knock against Australia in the second T20, wherein if I guess it right, she chipped in that 37 runs, quick fire 37 runs that helped India to get in there. So Richa Ghosh currently is not out on 9. Vastrikar has just walked into the field. So having that all rounder, that bowling all rounder that can good make handy contributions with the bat as well is a very important factor in T20, as we always talk about the same thing. But then I was going to come to you regarding Sneh Rana, Neha. So we see that she was playing for India, then she gets injured, did not play for a longer period of time, and then makes her come back, brings that impressive performances against England. So your thoughts on the growth of Sneh Rana over the time?
Sneh Rana indeed has been this player who's inspirational. I mean, considering the setback she's faced in her career, coming off the injury and the long time away from the Indian setup, the way she came back was just super impressive. And she has managed to contribute in each of the games she's played. If not, with her batting, her bowling is obviously the strength, but her fielding has also been good, and she's been very positive in the setup as well. And India has long looked for this all-rounder, who can bring to the table both the abilities in equal measures. And especially in the one-off test versus when we remember that legendary legendary partnership with Tanya Bhatia, right? So that was
Correct.
in the
Yes.
one-off. Even in the limited over setup, she is a very crucial component in the team, getting those crucial wickets. And in case there's a collapse, she can, be handy with the bat as well. So that way, I feel she has been a massive boost to the Indian setup.
Correct. And as we were talking about it, as you rightly said, if there are collapses, you need your lower orders to bring that firepower to the fore. You have Sneh Rana there, you have Pooja Vasrkar there. So both of them will have a greater role to play there, Akash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with Sneh Rana, as Neha rightly pointed out, ever since she has made a comeback to the Indian setup, she has shown what she can do with the bat, with the ball. And the thing about her is, I believe, like she has that X factor in her. What it allows is that it gives India an option to have somebody who can play a role at maybe she's somebody who could bat at 6 and 7 both. So, and Deepti Sharma has had an indifferent form in last year or so. To have Sneh Rana as an option is a huge advantage for India heading into the World Cup, because if Deepti's form is not up to the mark in the ODI series against New Zealand, Sneh Rana could potentially become. But I still believe as a batter, she is much more, and we already saw the wicket of Richa. See,
So
now
the
that will
New Zealand
turn the
getting even
tide.
there.
Yeah, that would turn the tide in New Zealand's favor, because now, as we see, the required rate is about 12, and whoever comes in has to get a move on as soon as possible. And that's the thing. The Indian team, most of the batters, they take a little bit of time to settle in. We don't have somebody who can come and just start on talking. So this will be a tough chase now, in with 4 overs to go.
Correct. With 4 overs to go now, the Vasrakar has also just walked into bat. She's in set here. Sneh Rana is the one who's joined her on the field. So basically, as you rightly said, that Sneh Rana and Deepti Sharma in ODIs. So probably only one might get the go. Both play the similar roles in the side. So your thoughts on that, Neha?
Right, yeah. I mean, both are important players, right? But I feel going in, India might want to have that extra batting option. So maybe Poonam Yadav may not get the go, and you might have, Sneh Rana and Deepti Sharma playing in the team, because obviously the deeper you have your batting in case of collapses, you can always have something with the bat. So I feel that way both of them might feature in, and probably Poonam Yadav might miss out in case she doesn't have a good outing in the upcoming ODI series.
Correct.
I
And the
think
whole
that's
talk
a
even.
fair point. There's a fair point by Neha. Like that could be a potential combination, but that will basically mean India has like 3 off spinners in the same 11. Right arm off spinners.
Correct.
We're doing a pretty similar job. See, we have seen West Indies do the same thing, but whether that could be a combination that India heads into, because Poonam Yadav also hasn't had a really good last year. Her own bowling form has not been good, so that could be something that India has to think about. Especially the spin attack has not performed well in the last year. The amount of matches, if you see that they lost, a lot of the not sort of blame, but a lot of responsibility, because before 2021, spin attack of India was their main strength. That has led India to several victories. To not have them in form heading into a World Cup is a sort of like a disadvantage, but we have to see the whole series. We might see them, get used to the conditions quite early. There is 5 ODIs, so we might see them get used to the conditions, and maybe they can get their form back before the World Cup. But it's a concern for India heading into the World Cup, I would say, the spin attack especially.
Definitely, and that is what we were talking about in the morning show as well. We were discussing so as to how the average of Deepti Sharma and Poonam Yadav was a tad bit concerning for the side, and then you want them to get their rhythm back ahead of the ODI World Cup, because you need your players. Like Rajeshwari Gaikwad has been in a very good form in the Australia series as well. She dominated the proceedings. She's an experienced campaigner and also has been a proven performer for Team India. But then you also need a lot of support there, because in the pace attack as well, if we talk about that, you have Julian Goswami in the side, Renuka Singh Thakur, Meghna Singh, and Pooja Vastrkar. Three of them, if you talk about their experience, they lack there. But then eventually, you always want your youngsters also to come in and given the opportunity, they'll obviously want to do that. So that is how things have been changing in women's cricket. 2017 ODI World Cup, and now another ODI World Cup. So basically, it was a kind of thing that changed the way women's cricket was perceived in India, the 2017 World Cup. We have players also talking about the same, the reception they received in India, the stellar performances by the side eventually grabbed everybody's attention. They knew, they started talking about women's cricket, started discussing it more. Your thoughts on the development of the Indian side for that world, from that World Cup to this one now, Akash?
Yeah, if you really see, I would sort of divide it into two phases. After it was firstly disappointing that after the World Cup that they had, and they went to the final, they played so well, they did not get a match for another 6-7 months. So that was firstly disappointing. But I would break their whole journey after that World Cup into two parts, and that you could get more perspective. Once is before the pandemic and after the pandemic. Before pandemic, they played about 24 matches and won 15 out of them. That's a impressive record. But since the pandemic has hit, they have played about 11 matches and won only 3 of them. So there is a bit of sort of there is a bit of like sort of uncertainty over how India's team is shaping up heading into the World Cup. Last year, yes, they had a few impressive performances, but you cannot discount the fact that they lost 8 matches out of the 11 that they played, and which 4 of them were at home against South Africa. So you don't really know about how their form is going to be heading into the World Cup. But again, it's a world event, and they get the one advantage that India will have over all the sides is that they have got here first. They are playing 5 ODIs, even though it's all in one venue, which is again one of the things that I don't understand. Yes, obviously it was done due to COVID, the risk of COVID and all, but to have 5 ODIs in one venue where potentially you could have 2-3 pitches max. So it's just that doesn't add more. It doesn't put you into different conditions as per it would have been, but that's what the situation is. But however, as I said, they have that extra advantage of having played 5 matches. They'll play another 2 more matches before the World Cup. So it's just about starting well. And you mentioned previously that India-Pakistan match, it would be an crucial match for Pakistan, but it will be equally crucial for India as well. If they start well, they can take that momentum forward, and because there will be tougher matches, more than Pakistan, they will face teams like Australia, England, South Africa, who are tougher competitors, I believe. Nothing to take away from Pakistan, but they are just a tougher team to face. But if they start off well, we could see them potentially doing well heading into the next few matches in the league stages.
So currently, if we talk about the match, it stands at a very interesting position. So I'll take that quick prediction, slightly inclined towards New Zealand. It is right now 16 balls. India needs 42 runs. You need like another level acceleration from both of the batters. Meanwhile, we get to see a boundary here of Vastrakar. That's what would be expected from the Indian batting batters right now at the field, Pooja Vastrakar and Sneh Rana. Getting your quick predictions, obviously, I'll ask about the who do you think is winning it. I know it's slightly inclined towards more inclined towards New Zealand at the moment, but you never know if these girls pull it off. Akash.
Yeah, I mean, like 14 deliveries, 38 runs. You have to say New Zealand from here because India is also 5 wickets down. They don't have a set batter in, which is a big disadvantage. But I mean, you have to credit New Zealand how they controlled the whole innings in the middle overs because yes, and in England, in India were looking threatening in some stages, like when S. Meghna was going after the bowling. That was a part, but they've got the wickets at the right time, and I think from here it should be an easy walk in the park for New Zealand.
Same thoughts, Neha?
Likewise, I mean, New Zealand clearly looks like they are in control of the match. I mean, from the start, they did look like, and the dot balls clearly aren't helping India right now. So, yeah,
Correct.
I think I'm going to be a little skewed towards New Zealand at this point.
Right, and if you also compare the innings, as Akash rightly said, that previously New Zealand started well in the middle overs. They bit of the Indian bowlers got better in the middle overs, and then again you know that Liata, who's quick fire knock, again took the graph up for New Zealand. But if we talk about the Indian setup, decent start from the Indian openers as well, and then the middle order S. Meghna did the job, and then since then we have lost more wickets. So the graph has been going down for India, and that's how it clearly right now, if we say that the game is in New Zealand's favor, that has been a good good thing for them, a good positive for them, because that's what we were talking about some time ago, that they weren't able to capitalize on the momentum. But this time around, it seems that they have actually made the most of the momentum they received, getting those early wickets of getting the early wickets of Shafali Verma and the Yastika Bhatia, Amelia Kerr getting into the attack. That's definitely going to be one positive. But then New Zealand, we talk about the ODIs now, that is to be followed after this one of T20I game. So New Zealand kind of has struggled in this format as well. Like India also has lost their last three ODI series against South Africa, England, and Australia, whereas New Zealand has also struggled in the ODI series. So, what issue do you think has plagued New Zealand in the ODIs? Meanwhile, Haley Jensen gets another one, Snehra departs. Yes. So, Akash,
I,
what issue do you
uh,
think has? Please continue.
as I think Neha or you pointed out previously, the fact that New Zealand, they got into, in that England series also, they got into situations where they put England under a bit of pressure. And England is a very strong team. They're probably one of the top three teams in the world. So to put them under pressure in their home conditions regularly through the entire series was a good thing for New Zealand. But you have to, when you put a team under pressure, you have to make sure that you capitalize on it. And you finish the job. I think that's something that they did not do, and it also has to boil down to a couple of players. I think there are players who just change the whole composition of the side, who change the whole dynamic of the side. And in absence of players like Amelia Kerr, Sophie Devine missed a couple of matches last year. So when if they can bring all the good players together, which they have for the World Cup. Most of the important players are back, and hopefully they will be fit through the World Cup. So that would be a good sign for New Zealand. They are a very strong team, no doubt. Both India and New Zealand haven't had the success that they would have liked last year, but you have to also notice that New Zealand doesn't play a lot also. So that's one thing that has been plaguing them. That you give them more matches, the more they play as a unit, the more it's good for their side. So that's something that would be interesting, because now, if you think about it, heading into the World Cup, they have solid 5 matches. Then they play a couple of warm-up matches also. So they could know how to play the entire 50 overs. And once they start doing that, they could look like a very good side, and especially on their home turf.
Correct. Home conditions, as we always say, comes pretty handy. Oh God, that was a that was an amazing attempt. But then yes, Vastrakar is still there on the field. So here India is sorry, Vastrakar is departed. A good catch, 122 for 7. India right now. So dominating the proceedings, New Zealand at the moment. They've got all the momentum. They've made most of the momentum, and then oh, that was a very good catch. Very good catch that was.
But I'll just point out one thing that I think would be a challenging factor for New Zealand heading into the ODI series. Most of their players have been playing a lot of Super Smash and a lot of T20 cricket. So to adjust the momentum from a T20 match to a 50 over, something that would be something that would be challenging for them. But again, Sophie Devine talked about it in the last press conference she did. She talked about the fact that they're trying to get into the tempo of a 50-over match. And I said, the good thing for them is that they have 7 good matches to play, and India is quite a competent side to challenge themselves against. So 7 matches there, 5 matches against India, and 2 matches in the warm-up matches. Once you get into the World Cup, they have enough time, game time, so that would be a good thing for them.
Correct. Game time would help them to actually get the most of the momentum. They could then plan their lineups, and many changes and combinations will be tried by both the teams to make sure the best 11 actually walks onto the field. And World Cup is an event which all the teams looks forward to, and they'll be all prepping their plans and attacks for the same. So if we talk about the ODI World Cup, which is to start, New Zealand will be opening the match of West Indies. So, who do you think will be that one impactful player for New Zealand, Neha? If you have to point one, there are many. I know you have all rounders. You have Liatahu in the pace bowling attack, Amelia Kerr with all rounder performance. But if you have to say that one player who throughout the tournament for New Zealand can make a greater impact, your pick.
For me personally, it has to be Sophie Devine. I mean, having seen her play for so long, and she's always delivered the goods. This is a home World Cup, so my bets are on her. Yeah, Sophie Devine.
And Akash,
I think Amelia Kerr, because again, she's such a talented player, and she can do some. The fact that she brings in the an ability of bowling leg spin and also batting in the middle order, it's a huge advantage for New Zealand. And mostly because she is such an important player to the side. If she can perform well, we might see New Zealand, just being better than what they are used to. So these two, and Sophie as well. I mean, both of them will be quite crucial heading into the World Cup.
correct. And if you talk about the T20 World Cup, New Zealand did not have a left hand batter in their top order then. So now they have Annie Satterthwaite, there is Brooke Halliday. Obviously, the formats are two different formats, but then left-handers always pose that challenge. So how could that act as a great great positive for New Zealand heading on, Akash?
I mean, in a 50-over format, I obviously in a T20 game, I don't know how much that brings into a lot of how much does that fall into as a advantage or disadvantage. But I think in a 50-over match, it could be a good sign because there are going to be phases where the bowling team will bowl according to one plan. And to disrupt that, if you have a right-hander and a left-hander playing simultaneously, that could be a great option. So to have that is an advantage. And again, just like you're not talking about any average player, it's any Satterthwaite. She's such a great player. So to have them, it would be a good advantage for New Zealand heading into the World Cup.
Definitely. So we are into the last over. Clearly, New Zealand have done the job. So if we talk about a bit about how the match has gone so far, what area do you think India lacked and where they capitalize their innings? Neha.
Right, yeah. So first up, the openers, right? Now, when we look at the opening combination, we had Yastika Bhatia and Shefali Verma. Obviously, we were missing our star batter, Smriti Mandana. She brings in that acceleration, which was obviously, like a massive miss for India this time around. And we need our middle order to fire. And when I say fire, they have to act from ball one. They have to be, at their best. You can't like take time to settle in or do that because the more anchor have in the inning, it just slows the innings. And when you're chasing such a big total, 153 is challenging and 155 is challenging, right, on a New Zealand pitch. So having the middle order accelerate is also very crucial. So yeah, my pointers would be having your openers fire and the middle order stepping in, to carry forward the momentum.
Correct. And Akash, your thoughts? Like we first ask you about the Indian innings because you have a target
Yeah,
in
like
front of you. You have 6 runs to chase. You have Yastika Bhatia and Shafali Verma opening the innings. Then S. Meghna coming down the order. A lot of changes, which maybe we can say that fair enough because this is a trial game. This is a practice. Like you can take it as a good practice game. You can try different combinations out there. But then, what do you think went wrong for India?
I mean, I have always believed India is a better side in ODI cricket than they are in T20s. And in T20s, they kind of depend a lot on the openers because if the openers set the tone, they bat maybe till the 12th or the 13th over. And
Correct.
the kind of talents Smriti and Shafali are, if they bat on up till like 13, 14 overs, you could see them scoring at a rate of 9 or something, 8, 9 around. So that sets up the tone for in a T20 match. But I think there's nothing lot to worry for the Indian team as far as this match is concerned. They did not have Sheffield. And the thing about them is that there are situations in which they can win. They are not a side. Let's be honest about it. They are not a side which can win matches at any situation. Like sort of like Australia.
And,
That we expect Australia.
and if we talk about the New Zealand, and if we talk about New Zealand now, we've just seen that they've frequently been taking wickets. They haven't let the Indian batters settle. Simran Dilbahadur is now departing. they weren't given an opportunity to settle. Simran S. Meghna seemed to do that job, but then again, they came up with a breakthrough. So that plans was good enough from the point of view of New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand, they are a quality bowling attack, and coupled with a couple of few experienced players, they have set the right fields. They've worked out their plans and they've executed them properly. You can plan all the much you can want, but it boils down to the execution at the end. And I think New Zealand have been excellent as far as their execution is concerned. But I mean, India will be a little disappointed the fact that they lost this game, but there's nothing much to fuss about. They are a better side in ODIs, as I said. So if once they have Smriti back and Shafali back at the top of the order, in the ODI matches, their approach will be a little different. And that is where, see, in a T20 match, you could score like 150, scoring 150 runs in a T20 match is okay. That's the situation that you expect a team to do. But in a one-day match, you have to carry on that whatever good momentum you get or whatever good start you get. You just cannot expect your openers to, when the openers get a 50-run stand, you want them to continue and get maybe a 100-run stand or a 130-run stand. That is a huge challenge. And I think in some ways, I believe this Indian side is better than New Zealand in those things. So if these things can click further in the ODI series, we could have a better show from the Indian team.
Correct. And if we talk about the batting of New Zealand in today's game, so as we rightly mentioned in the early show, that Susie Bates and Sophie Devine giving a good start to the team, and also a stat that came in during the match was that they are the first T20 international partnership to score 2,000 runs together, and that is really huge. And both of them have good experience by their side. They tick those boxes. The openers giving them a good start, a bit of struggle in the middle overs, but then Leah Tahuhu coming in, doing the job that she was expected to do. Your thoughts on that, Neha? New Zealand were like, with a good all-round performance, they sealed the deal.
Absolutely, and rightfully on the winning side as well. I mean, I really feel Leah Tahuhu's knock was the difference between the two sides, because even if you see the margin by which New Zealand has won, it's just 18 runs.
Yeah.
And if we had that, one good knock from either of our batters, like Harmanpreet doing the job, I think we would have been on the winning side. But Leah Tahuhu's innings is really like underrated in this match.
Correct.
And I think that is something that India has to work on. Moving on, even in the World Cup, they need somebody who can potentially give them, like if they need probably 70 or 80 runs in that last 10 overs, they need somebody to play the role of the aggressor. And the thing about in T20 is that in T20, in 1 or 2 overs, the match could change. You could have two really good overs of 15 runs and the match could change. But that's not the case with one day. One days you want, as I previously said, it's a longer format. So you need players to bat consistently well for a few more overs than in T20s. So as I think it was the point that we previously said also that the Leah Tahuhu's innings could be the difference in this game, and that is what it stands out to be, because before she came out to bat, New Zealand looked about maybe getting 145, 150, but that knock gave them those extra 10 runs, and it's more of a psychological thing. When you have that extra runs, the required rate will be more than expected. So that's something that I think worked in their favor.
Correct, and that's what often happens. A one spell and one innings really sometimes turns out to be the deciding factor and affects the result. And that was Leah Tahuhu's innings, if we can sum it off like that. So for New Zealand, if we say Jess Kerr has taken 2 wickets, Amelia Kerr back 2 as well, and Haley Jensen with 2 wickets. So that is a perfect all-round performance for New Zealand. Good with the bat, decent score on the board, and then coming in with the ball, not letting the Indian batters settle. There was few attempts from the Indian batters, but then did not capitalize on that. So this is how you do. But if I have to ask you one positive, Akash, that Indian team can take from here, could probably be Dipti Sharma coming in, giving that breakthrough. Would that affect her in a positive manner heading into today's series, or any other point you think that one positive for Team India?
I think it would be Pooja Vastakar. For me, it would be Pooja Vastakar, because heading into the World Cup, if you really think about it, when you have pace attack that is what has an experience of 13 ODIs, I mean, apart from Jhulan, obviously, if you have that kind of an attack, the second most experienced pacer in that attack is Pooja Vastakar. So her role will be crucial. We don't know who will be the third seamer, and I expect them to go in with three seamers at least in the World Cup. So that would be something that I would be looking out for, because when you have Jhulan, and if Jhulan is not taking wickets, maybe you need somebody like Pooja Vastagar to take wickets in the power play to at least form that combination of pace attack. So that was a positive sign from as far as I'm concerned, and I think also apart from that, the way S Meghna batted, I think that's something that they can note it down. You never know, in these times you cannot predict that what India might need in the fifth match or the sixth match. We might see somebody having COVID or going down with injury, and S Meghna coming in. So that's a good sign as well for India heading into the ODI series and the World Cup later on.
So here is the scorecard. We see New Zealand putting on the total of 155 at the loss of 5 wickets. Susie Bates, amazing with the bat there, 36. Pooja Vastrikar for India taking in those 2 wickets, and Deepti Sharma also coming in with 2. As we discussed earlier, Leah Tahu coming in with that quick fire knock of 27, and then chasing a target. Like initially during the toss, we discussed about the same thing, that was India's decision of bowling first was right, and we got the inputs that having a target always helps in T20Is, so that how you build on your innings from there. But then Amelia Kerr, Jess Kerr coming into the attack, not letting the Indian batters settle. But Yadav Bhatia 26 and S Meghna 37 is what sums up the match. So if I have to ask you to sum up the entire match, Neha, one positive for India, lot of positives for New Zealand for sure, but one thing that India can take off from this game, and just summing up the entire match. What do you make of it?
I think one of the positives from this match has to be S. Meghna's knock. I mean, she's coming into the setup after a long time, and she didn't look rusty at all, carrying forward her form from the Challenger Trophy. So that was obviously a massive positive. Having a solid middle order batting option like her is crucial. I feel probably slotting her at 3 would be ideal. That gives the Harmanpreet Kaur the position of 4, where she's better suited, 4 or 5. So that is obviously a positive. India would feel bad that we didn't have that one pitch hitter knock could just set us apart and have ensure that we were on the winning side. But
Correct.
besides that, I think this was good
If you
exposure for India with respect to going into the ODI series. We know there are some areas we need to work on, and these are a trusted group of players, so we can ensure that they will deliver the goods. So it's just a matter of time, and perhaps India are not the best chasers. We're not particularly good chasers. So if we win the toss, maybe batting in first without that pressure of chasing would be something I would probably look forward to in the ODI World Cup, because you can't predict the toss, right? So if you put in situations where you have to bat first, you can put up a good total, bat without pressure, and just ensure that you can defend it well.
Rightly added that the toss is something that isn't in our control, and we've often seen the cricket experts and all coming in and saying that you have to just be the best at whatever you do first. You bowl first or you bat first. Obviously, the conditions will have their say more often than not. But then, as a team, basically you plan for both the things, for batting first as well and for bowling first as well. So that is a very important factor as well. But then, as you said, that toss not under our control, but then you have a 5-match ODI series with New Zealand now. So you have 5 games to figure out things, what works for you, batting first, bowling first, and that could be a great deciding factor in the World Cup, Akash.
Yeah, actually, that's where I think India has the advantage, as I said before, that the fact that they are playing 5 ODIs before the World Cup starts, that's a great option for them to have. Having said that, it's there is time for India to figure out mostly, but I do think their first 11 that will play against Pakistan, that opening match is fixed. Like there is a 11 that they have in mind, and they will go forward. As we see the scorecard of New Zealand again, see if you look at that bowling card, lots of positive for New Zealand. Everybody got into the wickets except for Vanaro, and that's an excellent start to the series, I would say.
Correct. Everybody contributing with the ball. Yes, rightly said. So Jess Kerr is one who brought on that 2 wickets for New Zealand. Initially, it was Amelia Kerr who got into the attack, gave those 2 crucial wickets of Yastika Bhatia and Shafali Verma to the team, and that was something that changed the whole entire tone of the game, because your openers departed and everything. So Amelia Kerr, Sophie Devine, obviously we talk about the experience she has under her sleeves, and then Haley Jensen with her all seam bowling all rounder, but then timing in with the wickets as well. And that was a pretty decent all round performance for New Zealand. And heading into the ODI series now, they would have their spirits high, definitely, right, Mia?
Absolutely. I mean, having all your bowlers contributing wickets is just a major, psychological boost as well. And considering like these players are playing international cricket after some time, like domestic and international setups are very different. And coming into the international setup and immediately, showing these results augurs well for the team. And having your bowlers chip in with those one or two wickets are crucial. And in a T20 match, wickets are your biggest, weapons. You can just ensure dominate the match with that. So that way, it's a massive boost for them.
Correct. So definitely, this ODI series is what we've been all waiting since for long now. Just for the fact that you know that this is going to be a great practice for both the teams. Team India, for that matter, will get that advantage to play in the conditions, to get better idea of the wickets, and it would definitely help them to make a few decisions of their bowling unit, of their batters, the middle order, as we talk about with Hali Raj. Obviously, she has been holding the fort of the side in the middle orders, and then comes the talk of the strike race. But then you want someone to do that job in the middle orders as well. So that pretty much after this one of T20I game, that pretty much brings our attention to the ODI series that is to be played. And as per the revised schedule, we'll be playing the first ODI on February 12th, and then followed by the second on 15, and then 18, 22, and 24. So this is how the schedule is going to be. We'll definitely tune in with you guys for the ODI series as well. We are waiting for it as much as you are, and definitely we would want that Team India turns the table around, and let's see what is in store for us for the India versus New Zealand ODI series. Obviously, we now, having said that, New Zealand have won the match by 18 runs, have the momentum by their side, and they'll head into the ODI series with that psychological good momentum. So New Zealand winning the one of T20I. Now we'll be heading into the ODI series. We'll obviously keep you updated about everything about the series, and we'll get in touch with you through the live shows in the ODI series as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Neha, for joining in. It was really we're glad to have you. Thank you, Akash, for joining. And this was a wonderful talk. So for all of those who are watching this, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned to Women's CricZone for all the updates on women's cricket.